Hey, I have a question then. How many Pokestops would be in Barovia?
There'd be one for the windmill.
Yeah, there's very few like landmarks happening. There's the
waterfall.
There's the windmill. There's like, well, but here's the thing. They do the
That
there's
bridge
like
where
the
we flew zombies on.
The gallows is one.
The gallows is one. There's like the normie Pokestops, which are like the big, or those are like the gyms, like the big, like the windmill is a gym.
That means there's a battle there.
No, it just means it's tall.
I connected the dots. So
And then all the they started doing all those
Getting
Pokestops, which is
connection.
like, this is fancy graffiti. Here's a Pokestop for you.
Gotcha.
So that's like the smoldering remains of a house in Barovia.
That's totally not new.
What kind of
not new.
Pokemon can we find at these Pokestops?
99% Sableye, which is a
A
great
lot of
spot if you
dark
really
types.
like Sableye. Yeah, a lot of dark types, a lot of
Ghosts, perhaps.
a lot of ghosts. Yeah, and now that they've added the Galarian shit, you find a lot of those fucking ugly ass Rattata. That's about it.
You mean? Why the
Do
ugly?
you mean Rockruffs? We should be seeing Rockruffs everywhere because.
No, you're not that far up the mountains yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So are you saying that you mean Alolan Rattatas, where they're Italian?
Oh, I thought those were
mafia?
Galarian.
No,
No.
Really?
the Alolan.
Yeah.
They got
That's
chunky.
Fucking
For
stupid.
real.
It's the Meowths that you're thinking of.
Yes, I am.
You
It's
think
the Meowths, but not those fucking weird round Persians.
Oh, that's
You mean the
Galarian.
the Vikings?
No,
What?
the
No,
Persians
no.
are-
The Persians that have like the fucking round Garfield thing.
Oh no, you're right. I forgot about. There's Pokemon was a mistake. Anyway,
No.
Yeah, so
we,
You
we
leaked
swapped
those
over a while
words.
ago.
yeah,
Oh, know.
basically when I asked the question.
That's why I put on my performance voice
Oh.
to answer the question.
Well, Michael, what game are we playing today?
Is that my
Uno.
job? God damn it! It's Symphony of Sorrow. It's our. I almost said fucking Castlevania again.
I know, right? It's so hard.
It's our Curse of Strahd campaign.
Strahd.
Symphony of Sorrow. Where I gotta come up with like a catchy tagline for this, like where party members go to die, or some stupid bullshit like that.
For the porcelain predators.
It should be something like, "Welcome to our Curse of Strahd game. How many syllables can you put in Strahd?"
What?
Strahd.
How long can we extend
Strahd.
Strahd.
Strahd. Anyway.
Strawhead.
Basically, I'm literally still writing notes as I'm introducing this. Hey there. I'm gonna finish my notes. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Dinky.
Oh.
Okay, I had 4 more words to write. 5 more. I'm so sorry. Hi, my name is Michael. I'm your DM. This is Symphony of Sorrow, our 5th edition Curse of Strahd campaign. I was gonna say like, oh, I gotta find a catchy catchphrase, and then we'll go off on a tangent forever. Curse of Strahd is a touchy game. There's a lot of tough things going on. Yes. Content warning for Jesse touching his camera and smudging everything. No, it's fine.
That is a content.
As such, thank you. As such, we will squeaky. It's my favorite like Who's Line games where they're doing the sound effects and every time they open a door they're like squeaky. But anyway,
I do love
Right.
Who's Line.
God, it's so
Oh,
good. It's still on the air and I need to watch all the new stuff. There are some touchy subjects that are gonna come up, including but not limited to blood. That's a given. Gore, a more
Lord.
extreme version of blood. Abuse, neglect, gaslighting, stuff like that.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. That's what Strahd lives by.
Yes, that is absolutely true.
Wow.
The 3 G's of Strahd.
Mansplain, man tits, and male wife.
No,
No, there is
that's
no
his
male
mark.
wife.
That's his mark. But
Yes.
yes. as such, I am going to be giving as many warnings as possible when we reach certain subjects. And we are using safety tools where things can be voided and we can fade to black on certain things. So keep that in mind as we're watching and as we are playing. This is for all the players as well. I was about to do a recap, but that's not my damn job. Who wants to tell me what happened last week? Because there was a bunch of it.
We made people upset. A lot of people made 2 people very upset.
Also, check your mic just to be safe.
It is plugged in.
Okay, it's there. It's just not close enough. There you go.
I'm sorry. Is it? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I can't.
Damn it!
Be closer.
I'll never win. No, we made 2 people very, very unhappy, but that happened in the middle of the session. We did a whole bunch of stuff before that.
What a cold open that was for the recap. It was great.
I think that was the most important thing that happened that session.
Yeah.
What? All I remember was nearly dying.
By birds. That was in connection to the 2 people that we
did
really
we
upset.
did the movie The Birds.
We
We
did.
convinced, so we started convincing the guards to let us actually in after dark. And we're like, hey, come on.
Oh god, is that really where we
Please,
started?
please, we won't get you in trouble.
And they were
It
like,
was like, here, have drugs.
Have a meat pie.
And they were like, fucking, no.
Look, I was trying to be nice, okay?
they're like, we'll
I'm not
let
going to
you
take
in.
slightly warm, soggy pies from strangers at a gate.
well,
And they're
what's his-
working, so that would just
Wimpleflump
like
did.
disable them and they'll get fired like immediately. And we don't know how they get fired. They could
Sorry,
just get
I'm so
fucking
sorry.
killed.
Did you say Whippleflump?
Wimpleflump. I don't know what his name is because I can't
Harry
remember.
Wimple,
Harry
that poor boy.
I can't
Wimple.
remember any of these characters' names. I'm so sorry.
Whippleflump? Open the conca, damn it.
A
They all-
flump
they
is
all
an
look the same,
Underdark
Michael.
creature.
I'm sorry, Var, please continue.
We beep bopped inside and they were like, we were like, oh, what's a good building to go to? And the guards were like, the tavern, right down there, something Blue Falls, whatever, Blue Waterfall Tavern.
So we went there. Mordecai talked to the bartender while everybody else did whatever the fuck.
I talked to the
We
gays.
spent a long time in the tavern.
You did talk
Talking.
to the gays.
I talked to the bears, who were hunters of wolves.
Oh yeah, there's like dead dire wolves everywhere. Like literally
That's the motif.
everywhere we go in Valaki, there's dead dire wolves.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like Gaston's fucking house, but instead of antlers, it's just wolf heads.
Mm-hmm. Luke overheard the 2 rich guys complaining about this festival that happened in the town square that also had to do with children being mandatory to attend, and they complained about there being like the smell of wolf blood everywhere. So Lord knows what's happening there.
Yeah, those like advertisements in general are really fucking weird. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah, they
always
said,
end with
bring
all
your-
is well.
Bring your children, or children mandatory.
Bring
your
your kids, bring your wife.
Yeah.
Bring everybody.
Pikes will be provided.
It'd be a fun time.
All is well. It's that game We Happy Few.
That's what they give me those vibes.
So I haven't
Moon
played We
pies
Happy
or
Few.
the happy pills.
I haven't
Wolf
played
get a
We Happy
prize.
Few. I just know that there's a whole bunch of people with smiling masks and something's really wrong with the place.
Yeah.
But
It's
every
because the government requires them to smile, and if they frown, they get killed or thrown into prison.
Hell
And that's
yeah.
why they're drugged out of their mind, even though they eat rats. They don't realize it's rats.
in the tavern before we move on to the town
So
square?
there's this stinky guy smell like fish harassing the poor bartender.
But he'll
I
bring
have-
many fish in
He will
exchange
bring
for
many
more
fish.
alcohol.
Oh
and
fuck!
Mordecai-
I didn't put him on the conca. Damn it! I'm still missing people.
And
I added
Mordecai was
20
like-
characters.
Do you want me to deal with this? And he was like, no, fucking whatever, and gave the guy beer anyway. And Mordecai was like, you shouldn't have to do that. And he's like, well, whatever. My name is Erwin. Me and my wife, Danica Patrick, the NASCAR driver. What a woman.
She looks
Anyway,
Things
cool.
went south after those GoDaddy ads stopped.
She looks cool. She looks like a really cool, what's that person from TLC's? Like, they dress you up, because your fashion sense is bad, and there's the one
what's
chick that had the
what's her
gray
name?
streak in her hair.
But not to wear.
Yeah, what not to wear. That's what she looks like. She has the one streak.
Based on how she's isolated and she has a full body, she probably has a stat block. That's my guess.
No, it's because they cut her out of the picture of her family, so I could make 2 separate images.
Oh.
The full family shot is pretty badass, but I wanted to make them individual.
We talked about our Taraka readings together.
Yes, you did.
Yo, that family looks like some Game of Thrones shit.
That family fucks, right?
I didn't want to say that family looks like they fuck because there's clearly 2 children there.
I mean, well, clearly they do. They have 2 kids there. Anyway.
But we talked about our Taroga readings and sort of like any lingering doubts or concerns about that Taroga reading. And furthermore, when we were done with it, we had time to kind of talk with each other, or some of us did. Specifically, Mordecai and Luke talked a little deeper about their Taraka reading.
They do fuck.
And
Anyways.
And when we left the tavern to go do our explory-doos, we learned that, so we went out to do our explory-doos, and with the Taraka reading in the, this part of the brain, the front part, we noticed...
I believe that's called the noodle.
Yeah. We noticed that there were some ravens that were on a barn nearby the tavern, and we were like, hey, look, there's ravens. Hey, look, there's actual ravens. What if this was the nest of the ravens that was in our Taroka reading? And Riley, ever the smart kid, who just does things without thinking things 100% through, was just like, I'll just fly up there and look. And that's what Riley did, and everybody was like looking up, like, gosh, I hope he's okay.
And then we heard
Meanwhile,
shrieking.
Mordecai was preparing to speak with animals.
And Kazu was like,
The comedy.
That's too easy. Why are... It can't be it.
It can't be just it. And Riley went in there.
Asia's reading the fucking module in the background going, hold up a minute.
This
Past-
doesn't
Past
seem...
experience, this ain't that fucking easy.
No, it's the Emperor's New Groove. Like, by all accounts, it doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
That's Cassia right there. But Riley went in there and went into the rafters of the barn and found a little gold thing and just grabbed it, and fucking all the birds got really angry, and he nearly died because he almost got pecked to death. It's fine though, because he wasn't, and he's still alive. And the Markovs are not happy because that was their barn and that was their special gold thing, and guess what? They're actually secretly trying to go up against Stroud.
Stroud.
We'll just keep ruining it.
I just wanted to know how many consonants I could do, or how many syllables of Strahd I can make. Anyway, so they said, hey, we
fucked up.
You fucked up. We don't appreciate the fact that you tried to steal from us.
But it's a good thing you fucked up with us and not with anybody else, because, the Baron would...
You haven't met the Italians of this town yet.
Oh, no.
In this town?
There's at least one.
And
Boy.
so he better say boppity boopity.
Spoken
I
Italian.
got excited and then you said that. Now I'm not excited.
I'm sure Michael will treat the Italian with respect. I just know that I would just...
I gotta loosen my wrists for this
Get the
one.
hand gestures in there.
Yeah.
And they basically, they told us that Madame Ava wasn't full of shit, and that, yes, there is a holy symbol, or that there was a holy symbol in a raven's nest, which is just the entirety of the inn, but that it's with Dad, and Dad is probably dead somewhere, up near the winery, but we'll get to that when we get to that, I think. And then we all left, I think, to go our respective
Because there were some
ways.
things that we wanted to investigate in the space. Specifically, Riley wanted to go to the orphanage to see if
That kid was there.
Morgantha said the truth about dropping the kid off in the orphanage and not
And
bake
apparently he's in the Congo.
him in a pie. Riley wanted to go to the church and tag along with Ismark and Irina, who went ahead.
Mhm.
Cassia wanted to go to the
Bring
camp.
news of disappointed.
Yeah, bring news that she could not find the girl near Barovia, the missing daughter girl, basically lost child or young woman. I wasn't sure if it's a child or a young woman. Was it like a 10-year-old?
9-year-old, right?
9-year-old? Yeah. So, and then Mordecai was like, I need to investigate this space some more. Maybe even find where this missing grandpa is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mordecai went to investigate the town square.
Yeah, so went to go investigate the town square to get a sense of this place, because the Martikovs did say, you better watch it because the Baron's fucking terrible. And we're like, I mean, okay.
We're like, okay, I guess.
Okay, I guess we'll find out soon enough. And yeah, Mordecai found something creepy. Cassia found the father of the young girl being corporally punished.
No.
He is corporally punishing her babysitter,
Oh,
who has arrived alone.
punishing
Yeah.
somebody, which is not cool. Lucas went to the church and saw that it was standing, and that there were people who actually were engaging in their faith in a
There was
productive
a
manner,
sermon?
God forbid.
which is weird. And Riley saw it in the orphanage, the young boy that Morgantha had taken. So pretty much confirmed that. Don't even have to walk into the orphanage. I got it. And that's it.
Yeah, that is pretty much it. That's pretty much where we left off. Yeah, do you guys have any clarifications into any of that? Any other things that we didn't remember? I think we caught everything.
I think we got everything.
Okay.
I will definitely still call the Baron the Burger Master.
Bless his heart.
As it should be.
He's trying to be the Bunger King.
The Bunger.
He's trying to be the Bunger King, using really poor advertising and saying women belong in the kitchen, but you know.
How very topical.
Did that happen recently?
That happened
Yes,
today.
it did.
Today?
Today, Burger
What?
King was trending because they did a fucking.
Yes.
Oh,
For
women belong in the
international-
kitchen.
They did International Women's Day, and they had a big advertising, big splash page said "Women belong in the kitchen," and then there was a little tiny blurb that said
Call
there
my
are only
yard.
like 20% of the chefs that are in restaurants are women. We want to change that.
Oh, I mean, I get it, but that sucks.
Yikes.
on International
Uh,
Women's
yike.
Day. Yeah,
That's fun.
big yikes. Anyway, that's how I think the
what-
Baron is now.
That's
The
what
Baron is
Baron
that.
Can we just replace his picture with a picture of the Burger King?
No. Damn it.
I would totally buy. I would definitely believe that
I've
this
seen-
place is demented if that is the Burger.
I have seen a
Right?
lot of interpretations of this particular Burgermaster, and they range from like looking like the fuck. I kind of went with like the looking like the critic from Ratatouille kind of vibe, to like 600-pound looking motherfuckers. I'm like, there's all kinds of ways
dead
to play.
chef from Ratatouille. Got it.
Yes, yeah. Okay. As the morning sun continues
Hey,
to rise.
hey, the enforcer and captain of the guard of Valaki doesn't look too terrible. If he had like less of a crew cut,
Yeah.
he might look. But he also looks like the type of person that would say slurs.
But in like a
Permission
hot way, right?
denied.
Anyways, is no one looking at Ludmilla? Like,
Right? Ludmilla's fucking rules. Anyway, as the more I wish anybody who was watching could see this. Maybe you could find our Conka. somewhere. Anyway, as the morning sun continues to rise, we see the town of Valaki nestled in the heart of the valley. Despite the constant overcast, the sun casts a glow over the town, shedding light and, dare I say, even warmth on the denizens of the community. As shops open and people begin their daily routines, there's a sense of normalcy that seems almost out of place in Barovia. Nowhere is this more prevalent than in the town square, where common folk, busy about their morning, collecting water, visiting shops, and gossiping as they weave their way through the street, taking care to avoid the stocks near the festival stage, where several individuals with garishly colored plastered donkey heads remain detained. No one bats an eye toward the prisoners' plight, even going out of their way to ignore them, save for a few unsavory-looking teens who take a moment to stoop and grab a rotting vegetable from the conveniently placed wicker baskets nearby and chuck it toward the offenders, cheering when they score a direct hit. With the rest of your party scattered about, making themselves familiar with the town, Mordecai, you are the only one to witness this occurring. What do you do?
LeBron
This
James.
Mordecai would not have let this kind of shit fly in his, I don't want to say his town, but he'd been there long enough, you know?
Not in my beach community.
I have experience in enforcing the law and dealing with lawbreakers. So, just kind of going into city guard mode. I'm a cop. Anyways.
Not
Mordecai.
anymore.
Not anymore. Ex-cop.
They don't know that.
The only good cops.
Oh my god, he's an
that's a bad
ex-cop,
look,
and he plays by his
Mordecai.
own rules.
It's bad luck.
Mordecai
just
said
kidding, he's not a
ACAB.
cop. Mordecai did say ACAB. Mordecai will kind of step up. Mordecai, the kids are probably taller than Mordecai. He's not a big guy at all.
Yeah.
Um,
They're lanky, they're lean. They eat only root vegetables. That's the kind of place this is.
He'll kind of step up and say, I don't think this is quite appropriate.
He says that just kind of quietly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these teens are, I think one of them gets one more good chuck in, as the kind of three in total just kind of turn to look up at you. There's a couple of short ones. They're malnourished.
Me
but they
too.
Look up to you. There you go.
Nice
Okay,
to
well,
meet you.
it's that meme where the two buff men are locking arms.
Except they're skinny.
Yeah. Anyway, one of them just kind of looks up at you and says, "Oh yeah, and what is the problem about this? Yeah."
You me dad.
Do I look?
To hot look.
You know, not to make assumptions, but it seems like you all have to scavenge quite a bit. How do you know that isn't what this person is doing? And they just got caught. If you were in their position, would you want to have disgusting rotting vegetables? And he'll kind of, his nose will kind of like twitch at that, the smell
Yeah, it's bad.
thrown at you.
Roll me a persuasion.
You're asking the wrong person, honey.
They look up at you, and for a second, it looks like he's gonna make kind of a shitty remark. But then he kind of stops, and he turns to look at these people who, like, it looks like some of them have probably been there for, like, days, if not longer. It's hard to see. You can't see their faces, because they're wearing these big, like, pinata-looking heads. That look, I mean, very crudely like donkeys. But he just kind of like looks back up to you and says, "Whatever. Come on, let's get out of here." And he will kind of turn to his little like thug friends, and one of them will like begrudgingly slam the tomato on the ground and just kind of like huff as he and his boys roll out. You do get the sense that, like, you did kind of touch a nerve there, but he's not gonna admit defeat in that way. "You're not worth his time" is the vibe he's trying to give off to his boys.
He's used to that.
Yeah.
Are the prisoners able to talk? Like, are their mouths covered or anything?
Their whole heads are cut. Like it's like one of those novelty horse masks, but a little bit bigger and roomier, and made out of plaster, so you can tell it's heavy. But if you approach them, you could probably get a couple words in.
He just kind of looks on forlornly, knowing that he wouldn't even know what to say. He just kind of, he knows that at least he could get people to stop for now and spare them a bit of their dignity.
Mm-hmm.
So he will kind of kick the bucket over, put his hands in his pockets, and kind of walk on, taking in everything around him and all its nastiness. He's getting nothing but negative energy from this. It's so mean-spirited, everything here is. Even your attitudes towards the wolves.
That is true. Like, it was a jamboree to parade their fucking heads around the town. As you are kind of like vibing your way around, sadly vibing your way around the square, you hear like a very loud voice kind of cut through the chatter, and you hear the sound of gregarious good mornings ringing out from across the square, as you see a man strolling through the street, flanked on both sides by two enormous black mastiffs. He wears a breastplate and a rapier, both of which glisten against his fine silk tunic. In addition to the dogs, he's trailed by a couple city guardsmen. He stops for a moment to chat with a few folks before continuing his rounds, inspecting the festival posters hung about the square, straightening one on its bent nail until he is satisfied. This man clearly exudes authority, as he interrupts any conversation he pleases, in the interest of exchanging pleasantries with his citizens.
Mordecai, of all people, you have to do this.
You went to the square, bud.
Commit to it. Just, if you're gonna fail
I get arrested.
beautifully.
Don't make him rescue you.
Oh, my face got red because I got nervous. Mordecai will kind of just cross his arms and step over to the side to like get out of the way. Eyes the dogs for a moment and very much contemplates casting Speak with Animals. But he decides not to because he has a feeling that they're quite loyal regardless of what he does.
These big kind of slobbering fucking things.
He is quite familiar with dogs, canines at this point in his travels through Barovia.
The amount of fucking wolves that have run after you.
The large amount of wolves. He doubts that they're any different. And he kind of chastises himself internally for that. Because, I mean, he could talk to them, but...
There's no such thing as a bad Pokemon, only a bad trainer.
Exactly. But he doesn't hold back a sneer as he catches sight of this gregarious display of...
Yeah. He's not like a little
royalty.
dude. He's not scrawny. He's kind of a bigger guy. I mean, he eats well, clearly, but he's not he's not rail thin. But he kind of makes his way around as you kind of do catch his gaze for a moment, and he turns and flashes a cheery smile and starts to kind of walk his way over and says, well, you must be one of the newcomers I was hearing about. Got here just this morning, did you?
Yes, I reckon we've become quite famous for being some of the few newcomers.
Yes, well, in order to keep this place safe, I ask that all potential new people be reported directly to me. Baron Vargas Valakovich, at your service.
The Burger Master!
He will extend a hand.
Mordecai will just nod and say, Mordecai Vilkas, and offer his.
Vilkas, yes. Make a note of that. He kind of throws over his shoulder to one of the guards who's writing in a little logbook. He says, apologies,
Right
far too
away,
many.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, right away, sir. Write that down, write that down.
He kind of stumpy hobbles away. But he says, you'll have to forgive me. With so many folks visiting our fair town, it's hard to keep everyone's name right at the front of the brain.
Oh, no, I mean, as a former city guardsman, I understand that security protocol necessary to keep the
I
place
thought
safest.
I saw the countenance of a man who knows how to guard what's important to him.
Could say I'm quite the watchdog.
Yes, very, very good.
Looks at the dogs.
Looks at the dogs, which are kind of like sniffing and walking toward you, and just kind of like slobbering on your pant leg. Don't mind them; they're quite friendly.
Oh, can I? Such a fucking dumbass. Can I pet them?
Oh, yes, of course. Yes, that is why I have them accompany on my morning strolls. They promote morale about the town, don't they?
Nice icebreaker.
I know.
I'll bet that dog.
Mordecai's, can I pet that dog? That's Wiley. He's more like, can I pet your dog?
Please.
But
Like
he'll
some
kind
sort
of
of shady deal being exchanged.
he will not look down at the dogs as he does so, but he will maintain like eyes within the range of the.
Out of character.
Oh yes.
A question. And I need to know in the meta: are these good dogs?
Are these good boys?
Yeah.
They seem
Are
like
they
good
good
boys
boys?
because Mordecai, as you kind of like lower your hand, you immediately just feel like wet slobber as their kind of
Yes.
jowls just kind of rub across your hand a little bit as they're like sniffing and snorkeling at you.
Smile a little bit at that.
They're good dogs.
There you are. There's a smile.
It
So
will
tell me,
immediately go away.
yeah, right. How are you enjoying our fair city?
I must say it's quite nice in comparison to everything else. You see, I was at least just kind of thrown into the world of Barovia, so
There it is. You see, quite nice. Didn't I tell you? And he'll turn back to one of his guards. You know, like clearly they were having a conversation about the decor earlier, and he just won the argument, or he got his validation because you said it was quite nice. Completely ignoring fucking everything else that you just said. He said, and how do you feel about the atmosphere of the place? Rather charming, is it not?
he'll kind of look around for a minute to make sure that he's not been dreaming the whole thing.
You're unpunked.
It's quite you have some very nice townsfolk around.
One more time.
You have some very nice townsfolk around, so quite welcoming.
Jeff?
Ah, yes, that is what we pride ourselves here in Vallaki. Fine folk.
The guards who definitely needed convincing to let us in. The spies that are running the inn who have a swarm of ravens at their beck and call that will murder you.
But they were nice to us and they showed us a modicum of clemency.
Those children, they're children, so obviously it's not welcoming.
Well,
Those
what did you
top
want me to say? It
trees.
fucking stanks here? Go to jail?
He's got a donkey head ready for you.
I know, it's got my name on it. That's
but
what
he
they
will
did.
He'll say, excellent. It's good to have nice, fresh faces about. Proves that this is a place worth coming to, after all. So tell me, you and the rest of your coterie, what brings you to Fair Vallaki?
Guy's gonna lose his fucking mind. He's gonna snap. You just wanna go apeshit. Well, I'm just seeing what Barovia has to offer, so we figured we'd head here since it's
Oh.
the next destination.
I see. And are you planning on staying?
I don't quite know yet.
Well, you must stay at the very least until the next festival. In fact, I insist you will have a wonderful time. It would be very good to see outsiders as the guests of honor at the Festival of the Blazing Sun.
He leans in really close and says, "You must stay."
Oh, I did have a question about that, actually.
Yes, of course.
What was the little caveat about the children?
Well, we here in Vallaki feel that children are the future, and that they deserve to see such positivity being radiated by all of these town folk. It will remind them truly that all will be well.
I'll just kind of nod slowly, having heard that kind of horse shit before. He sees it for what it is. I'm gonna roll an insight check.
Yeah, go ahead.
Think of the children.
20.
This guy is speaking completely earnestly.
He could also be believing his own bullshit, too.
That is the vibe that you get.
Yeah, he's delusional, isn't he?
He believes it wholeheartedly. In fact, I mean, like, the militaristic way that the signs and posters were being put up, the kind of wordage, the verbiage that was being used, is like, this happiness is for a purpose. Not just standard. This is advanced morale.
Advanced
booster.
Darkness.
This is advanced team
Advanced
building.
happiness.
Yes.
We are gonna synergize so hard.
I can feel our energies gathering in here, and they're quite negative. So could we get suck those negative energies up in our positive vacuums?
So you're right.
And spit out positive
we have a few.
energies.
I have these crystals that are definitely going to help with our vibes.
Swear to God.
I've been charging this water in the full moon all night.
I highly recommend that you open your anus to the sun's rays. It's
Jesus.
Okay, but have you tried essential oils?
Can we introduce you to a new franchise? It's called Goop.
Oh.
The moment I see a Goop store, I'm killing myself.
I'll be there
Jesus.
with you, buddy.
Well, Michael, there is.
It's in LA.
Like,
Bye, Michael.
there's
Love
two.
you.
There's one in New York.
Well, this has been Curse of Strahd.
All right.
My name
See
is
you
Taylor.
later.
I'm the DM now because Michael's gonna go die.
I'm gonna go commit die.
Anyways, sorry, that was my fault.
/ execute.
/ die. Oh, I was wondering also. Are you all the followers of the Morning Lord? I saw the church over there.
He kind of gets like a stank face on when you say that. He says,
only burgers.
I am the god.
he says, yes, we do have a wonderful chapel that does good in the town, but all that religion is a bit dour, don't you think? A little bit, praying for absolution after the end instead of enjoying the time that we have.
Mordecai kind of at that, I mean, he can't argue with that one.
A bit dour, a bit too drab.
Oh, I mean, I do agree on that.
Drab, have you seen how Luke dresses?
He hasn't met Luke yet, but he will
You
say,
need to send this guy to walk me through.
Father Lucian has been speaking about trying to incorporate church services into the festivals, but to be perfectly frank, well, I'd rather have them all standing here than bored to tears.
What a dupe.
Mordecai just kind of continues with the dead-eyed look after going,
This all stays, of course, directly between you, I, and the dogs.
Oh, of course, I don't fancy myself.
In fact, I'm reminded of a joke. Would you like to hear it?
Run, it's a
Oof.
dad joke.
I could use a little bit of sunshine.
And levity.
He smiles big at that. He's like, yes, this guy gets it. But he says, what do you call a vampire lord without his ears?
I'm afraid I don't know the answer.
Anything you like. Oh, there it is.
You didn't laugh.
I mean, I get it, but do you not have a cricket sound effect?
No. The guards behind him, like, laugh, though.
Good one, Baron!
Even the dogs seem to dig it. Like,
Oh, I mean,
yeah.
it is good. I just don't fancy myself quite the laugher.
Oh, that's a shame. It really is. Well, perhaps sometime in Vallaki then we'll do you good. It's the happiest place in Barovia, after all.
You know,
Of course.
every time I'm hearing this, my brain is like, why? Why is it the happiest
Those
place
warning
in
bells
Barovia?
are jingle jangling in my brain cells. Well, I must thank you for the hospitality and the warm welcome, sir.
Not at all, not at all, my friend. Mordecai, yes? Vilkas?
Yes, sir.
Remember that one? Yes, well, Mordecai, if you and the rest of your entourage are quite similarly minded, then I will tell you what, I insist, and he will grab your hand and place a hand on top of it. I insist that you all come join me at my villa
Detect
this
undead.
evening for brandy and cigars.
We're gonna get poisoned like we did in Ungilded Tides.
I know, that's what I was thinking. I'm
That would
like,
be so fun.
No, Michael won't pull the same trick on us twice.
that's true.
Not if
Are
you
you
don't
sure
talk
this is a
way.
pre-written campaign?
But that's what he says. He clasps your hand and looks wide-eyed into yours and says, I must insist that you all join me tonight at my villa for brandy and cigars.
Well, I will most certainly offer. Thank you. It's quite generous.
Absolutely. Never a second thought. But if you don't mind me asking, was that, there was mention by the guards at the front gate that you were in the company of the children of the Burgomaster of Barovia.
Oh, yes, sir.
And
He
how is
can't
Barovia?
lie. I want you to understand.
And how is Barovia these days?
Well, I didn't stay there quite that long.
You know.
Rather
Is it-
dreary and tumble down, is it not?
Like the rest of Barovia outside of here.
Exactly. I see what brought you here. A little ray of sunshine in all the fog.
Of course.
I am
what I needed.
reminded. I'm reminded of my lineage, and he will kind of put an arm around your shoulder and wheel you around, and look up to the statue in the fountain in the middle of the square and say,
Oh, fuck.
"My
Yeah.
my great ancestor Boris Valakovich. Valakovich has been the burgomaster of Vallaki ever since before the mists fell, and it is thanks to us that all is and will continue to be well."
You do like that. But say all is well.
Yes, it's what is that from that old turn of phrase? All will be well when it ends. Is that it?
I'm sorry, what?
Find peace in death.
I don't fancy myself a literary scholar.
All is well, if well it shall end. Something, when it ends, it will all will be well. I'm sure I'll think of it at some point. But in any case,
Are you talking about death?
oh, By the gods! There's enough of that outside of the walls. I don't want to be bringing that energy into Vallaki itself. All's well that endeth
Bad
well.
fucking vibes.
Mordecai's gonna look at the guards. Can I do an insight check on the guards?
Please.
Fuck!
You tell that this man is drugged out of his mind and he believes fully.
Oh, I
they're
don't think
just-
he has to be drugged to believe.
He has the daydream pies.
The guards are just they're just chilling. They look a little sleepy. That's
Like
about all
that
you
they
get
were
with a
drugged.
fucking 10.
Ooh. Mordecai's gonna put that in his back pocket. Well, I'm sure everybody's quite thankful for your jurisdiction.
I do what I can. Speaking of which, now if you are going to be coming to my home, I would be delighted to introduce you to my lady, to my son as well, and to insist that all of you stay for our next festival. Perhaps you shall be the guests of honor after all. Help me in lighting the blazing sun. And you can spread the word to the rest of the folk in Vallaki that all... Well, you know the rest.
I will be.
Exactly.
Mordecai wants to shoot himself.
And just a word of advice, if you don't mind. We don't like to think about death all that much here in Vallaki. I'm reminded of a phrase. Out of sight, out of mind. Out of mind, so much the better.
This guy is just layers of...
You sure like your adages, huh?
Yes, I also like a bit of subtractages as well.
Good one, Baron. Good one.
This man is Markiplier. That fucking wow.
Quick-witted and quick on your feet, I see.
Well, you shall see tonight. Perhaps we'll get a dance going.
This man has a live, laugh, love poster hanging on his bathroom.
He's gonna
It's
get a
carved
divorce.
into his wall.
God.
He's writing on
He's
his
gonna get a divorce.
typewriter. It's just live, laugh, love, live, laugh, love, live,
He's
laugh,
currently in the middle of a divorce. That's why he's trying to talk up his wife.
All
I'm not-
live and no laugh, love makes Vargas a dull boy.
I'm not quite the dancer, but I do enjoy a good card game every now and then.
Fantastic then. And I shall see you all tonight.
If we all agree, yes.
I must insist. Where are you staying? The Blue Water?
Yes.
I'll send my man Izek by this
Stanley.
evening. He'll collect you.
Mordecai is like, shit. Shut up, Julian. Taylor did the same.
Taylor would ruin this whole man's career.
Yeah, Mordecai knows how to be a kiss ass, so unfortunately,
Okay.
it ain't a good thing. I would rather be Taylor, but Mordecai.
Whatever Markiplier chat is happening, just know that I don't watch the man and I don't know the lore. So this is original. But he'll just kind of clap you on the shoulder.
That was him.
He looked directly into the camera and said that.
He was like,
thus pulling another Markiplier.
you know, I don't know about all this Markiplier.
Shut the fuck up. Okay. He will clap you on the
We
shoulder.
have an
and,
ace mark over there.
he's gonna clap you on the shoulder, and he's gonna just like, clap his hands and start walking off toward the stocks, which are not too terribly far from where you are right now. And if you kind of catch, kind of follow his gaze for a little bit, he'll keep an eye contact with you and give you a little wave, and he'll stop by the basket and he'll pick one up and gaily throw it over there and just with the. All right, and he'll keep walking.
Mordecai's gone.
Please tell me he says bye-bye.
No, he doesn't.
As he walks away, somebody screams in the background off screen, "I love you!" And he's like, "I love you too, random citizen."
Yes, Lizzie, you're breathtaking. But yeah, that's that scene. So next,
That was intense. I'm not gonna lie. He's intense.
Mordecai's
great.
going to find someone immediately.
To shoot him.
Oh,
I
he
need
would.
you to kill me. But yes, as that happens, I hate everything. This
What?
Discord was a mistake.
Wait, there's Discord bunnies too.
Yes.
They're not funny,
Laura and
it's
I are
just
doing both.
Markiplier.
I'm gonna give a content warning for this next moment. Content.
Markiplier.
No. Content warning.
Sorry.
It's a real content warning for borderline torture.
It's fine. I just need to collect myself.
Or I think this is your scene coming
Laura,
up.
this is
No,
your
that's what I'm
thing.
saying.
Or
I
this
know
is
that's
your
what I'm saying.
scene.
I'm fine. I just need to calm down.
We hear the sounds of violent thwacking as a thin rod of coiled leather is swung with force at the shirtless back of a young Vistana man on his knees, his wrists bound around a barrel. Luvash, one of the two leaders of this camp, strikes him again and again with the switch, shouting and demanding to know what he's, quote, done with her. While Aragal, his brother, looks on. Cassia, you catch sight of Casimir on the outskirts of the crowd. As he notices you, he rushes over. He grips your shoulders and can't stop himself from pulling you in for an embrace, as a look of relief washes over his face. By the gods, you're alive. We thought we might have lost you. You didn't come back, you see. How are you, dear?
She'll gasp softly at the pool into the hug and lightly hug him back. I'm fine. I've run into a few stragglers. I seem to have found more people but her.
More traps, you mean?
Yes.
The gods are not merciful today.
They never are.
Well, do you have any news of her?
I'm sad to say that I don't. I even made it to the falls and found no trace of her. There were corpses, yes, but none of hers. And I've been asking people from Barovia to Vallaki, and they have not found her. But
Well,
I'll keep an eye out.
good. Luvash and Aragal found Alexei, as you can see. He was hiding in a den in the forest. No doubt afraid of what would happen when he returned empty-handed. He kept saying that, well, it was hard to understand because he was caught quite immediately. There's nothing any of us can do to step in for fear that Luvash will turn on those others who have attempted to help. But perhaps if you have, well, any news at all, where she's not, like you said, that might be well enough to call him off, don't you think?
Hopefully. For his sake. And she'll glance off to Alexei.
Yeah, who is, to say that his back is bloody is an understatement. It's, you see like bits coming off every once in a while, every other swing or so. And this kid is maybe like 17, 18.
Mm-hmm. She'll sigh deeply. Just stare off at him. Well, here goes nothing.
He'll kind of give you a little squeeze on the upper arm, and he will kind of guide you up through the crowd. This for everybody else is Casimir Velikov, who we saw very briefly in like the first session, who's kind of the de facto leader of the remains of the Dusk Elf people. Casimir is about middle-aged for an elf. He's probably about somewhere between 500 and 600. He was here before Strahd. This was before Strahd ever showed up. And he is the oldest remaining Dusk Elf. He also, for those who don't quite remember, has no ears. They were taken as trophies by Rahadin, the man that you all saw chauffeuring Strahd at the funeral. That's kind of he doesn't like to talk about the old days, about the before times, about the war. Suffice it to say, it didn't end well, obviously. But he's kind of been like the clan elder, even though he's not really even that old for an elf. And he will he kind of is Hugo. He's got Hugo Weaving vibes. You're totally right. Yeah. Obviously he is hearing impaired. So he does his best to sign along with himself speaking. He doesn't expect anybody else to. But he does it to keep his own practice up. But as he kind of leads you through the crowd, through the kind of grunts, he will shout out to announce, to give some legitimacy to your return, and say, "We have news, Luvash. Cassia has returned." And that is enough for Luvash to take a pause, breathing heavily. You can see that he's been at this for a while. And he will take a moment before shooting one more glare down at the boy, and just kind of like chucking the switch toward him just to get one last little lick right on the back as it bounces to the ground. And he will grab a rag and just kind of dab at his forehead, and he will say, "What news have you brought of her? Does she live?"
It's unknown. I'm sorry. I've gone to Barovia and back, and I haven't seen any trace of her.
Luvash gets this kind of scowl on his face again, but Aragal in the back kind of steps forward and says, "Well, perhaps that's a good thing. If there's no trace of her, then there's no telling that she's passed on. Or at least we know now better where to look." And Luvash will just say, "I know where we need to look. It's where this one left her. What he did with her, but he's just not saying."
Have you given him the chance?
He
Or did
came
he
up with
really
some...
blind you?
What did you say? I'm sorry, Alf. But if you don't have a child of your own, then you've got no right to tell me what my rage will do. Aragal will kind of come up and, kind of grab his brother by the back of the shoulders and say, "Oh, sorry about this, but you can see that it's been a bit of a stressful time for all of us." And Luvash will just kind of like breathe through his nose and say, "He came up with some cock and bull story about losing her on the way. But I know that he's to blame. She's too smart to be caught off like that."
Well, what was the story? Are there any details your red-filled eyes are not noticing?
Aragal will kind of pull him back a bit as Luvash almost like sucks in another long breath, and Aragal will say, "Perhaps, if you'd like, you could speak to the boy. I think we all need a bit of a moment, don't you, Luvash?" And Luvash will just kind of shake him off and toss the rag down and walk away. And Aragal will just kind of like give a little bit of a shrug toward you and gesture off toward Alexei. Just basically saying, "You have the floor." As Alexei kind of, quietly sobs on his knees.
For the life of me, I can't remember the leader's name because I'm stupid.
Which leader?
The leader of this place.
This place it's Luvash and Aragal. They are the joint leaders of this of the Vistani here.
Okay. She'll look over to Casimir and ask, trying to be loud enough for him, but she just
Of course, yeah.
doesn't really care about them right now. Do you know any healers on hand?
I can do my best to mend the wounds, but all it takes is time. Even with magic, those scars won't fade.
I know. I just don't want to be talking to someone who's about to die.
He will kind of motion over to a couple other elves that live in the encampment to kind of help tend to Alexei. And by tend to, they're literally going to like pick him up and help take him out of this area, cutting the bindings from his hands, because clearly Luvash has gotten his frustration out, and nothing. There was nothing to be gained from it anyway. So Casimir will have the guards kind of take him back to his house on the kind of outer circle of houses that is over there around the camp on the hill. And as you kind of make your way in, they lay Alexei down on Luvash's cot while he, like, face down, obviously, while he starts mixing what salves he can to, at the very least, soothe a bit before he prepares bindings. This, I will also say, is I wouldn't say improper, but it's definitely rare for a Vistana to require help, basically, from any of you. You guys are, you're the refugees here, is kind of the mentality that's going on, but Alexei's not fucking complaining. Not that he would. He's weak, but he is conscious.
On the way over, she would have done a poison spray at the whip just to dissolve it, so that if Ludwash even wants to attempt to like track him down and whip him again, it's not going to.
Just kind of just kind of pit and scar this thing, kind of snapping a little bit of the leather and causing it to slightly unravel.
Yeah. When she gets there, she'll find a spot to sit by him. I'm sorry what he did. I'm sure it wasn't your fault.
It was. I lost her. I knew he would do it. I just tried to stay away for as long as I could. I don't half know what happened. We were on our way to the lake. She run off ahead. But before I could even start after her, I got hit over the back of the head. And when I woke up, she was gone. I spent all that next day looking for her. Even took a boat out on the water. Could not find her. I just knew what he'd do to me if I came back without her, so I ran. Evidently, I didn't hide well enough.
Then it's not your fault. He's just mad that his daughter's not by his side, and you couldn't help it. It wasn't something you can control.
Thank you. Not for saying so, but for getting him to stop for a moment.
He wasn't seeing straight. I can imagine how blindingly angry I would be if I had a child who went missing. But instead of using that anger to hurt everyone around me, I would at least make some attempt to go out there myself and not return until I found her, and not make everyone else do it.
I wish I wasn't supposed to take her that far, but she wanted to go see the water. She knew we couldn't go back to the falls.
And he stops himself from saying anything further.
Does he know more?
She knows she wasn't allowed to go there.
Yes, it's not safe to go out that far. That's what you always told her, at least.
Well, it is awfully close to the castle.
Ain't no need to worry about the castle. Not never for us.
Well, when I went to visit, at least the falls, I found what I presume to be a necromancer reading a book, saying that she had no knowledge of her being there.
Necromancer.
Presumably. She was strange.
I don't know nothing about that. I just know Arabelle was no fool. She had her gifts. She knew she wouldn't make it to the falls on her own.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we was just going up to the lake. But like I said, we don't need to worry about the damned castle.
He cringes as Casimir kind of rubs some of this like goo, almost like this aloe vera looking shit on his back. It probably literally is like aloe vera. It's a plant thing.
Cactus.
Yeah, cactus.
Well, after they patched you up and you had your rest, me and a few friends can help you look. We can go back to the last nowhere about.
Thank you for offering. Yes, that would be good. I'd like to get her back.
Oh. You didn't mean any of this to happen.
Didn't. but it happened. And she knew it would. She's got a gift, that girl. Not many of us Stanley have got it. She's got a sight. A cunning. See, her father ain't never told her, but she saw it, she figured it out. She told me.
What'd she say?
She said that her great-grandmother, great, hard to say, but came to her in a dream. Told her she'd be able to see things. And she were always so clever. She talked about things that were going to happen when we was out on our walks. She even said that morning that she wouldn't be back for a while. Didn't know what that meant. I thought we were going to have a full day up out the lake, but...
Curious.
So potentially, this child, she knew that this would happen to you. If she's one of the seers.
She can't know all, but she gets bits and she would always tell me about them. But that's why he don't want her going out there. He don't want her going out there because he don't want her to meet her. He don't want her to meet her kin.
I'm wondering. I'm really
She went
curious.
out there anyways.
She wouldn't have gone alone, like I said. Even though we're supposed to be safe in this land, there's no accounting for bandits and the like.
She might have been in correspondence with somebody else.
Maybe she saw something she wasn't telling about, but she kept saying that she wouldn't be back for a while.
Then she won't be back in a while. She'll be back when either she wants to be or we find her. After you rest.
Right. There's something about that lake up there. There's all been them rumours about the bad mage, what lives past the lake. Thunderstorms and the like. What ain't coming from him.
And he kind of points weakly in a direction that you think must be Ravenloft. Anytime people talk about him, capital H him, it's always Strahd. Strahd controls the weather. Is a popular thing that goes around.
He has a staff.
He just has that weather
control
staff.
Hopefully, yes.
He has the other half.
Count and him were meant to be friends.
No.
But he will like kind of calm himself a little bit, and he will kind of settle in and eventually just kind of pass out as Casimir continues to minister to him. Casimir will kind of speak to you and say, it will be some time, but I will keep him here and tend to his wounds until I say he's ready to walk. Funny how things work out. We end up being the ones to help. Funny old world.
I don't need a helping son. I have no one that would want them.
Yes. We have all lost a lot. If only there were a way to get it back.
Hopefully. We just need him to be gone.
He'll kind of like close his eyes and solemnly nod and just say, but it won't be tonight. I'll tell you that much. You'll get along, and if you would like to introduce your new friends to our people, we'll be here. And when you would like to make your way out, you know where to find me.
Of course. Preferably if the brothers are in a good mood.
When will they ever be?
That's a good question.
Yeah, right. He just bolted a loss for fucking an answer for that, but he will say,
How long? What I mean to say is, are you intending on going out there? I'm trying to... You talk so much about if he were gone. What are you doing, Cassia?
I think I can get someone now. These friends that I've met. They could be of use.
Well then, you hold them tight. And you come see them. Bring them to visit me. I'll see if they're up to muster.
Of course. I wouldn't try sneaking anyone past you.
Good, because I hear all.
She'll laugh at that. Before looking down and idly drawing a symbol into the bed frame. And just like asking quietly her patron to keep an eye out.
right. You don't get an answer, but you feel a vibe.
The vibe.
Okay. The vibe, yes. What's this symbol?
Great question.
You don't have to tell me what it looks like, but what does it represent to you?
For her, it represents hope.
Okay. Is it his symbol, your patron's?
Yes.
Okay. Roll me an insight check. This is what we're going to call a vibe check. 18. As you kind of, like magically almost, doodle this symbol into the bedpost. It's like, it'll go away after a while. It's like when Gandalf scratched the little thingy in Bilbo's door. That's the kind of what I'm imagining. It glows for a second and then it fades into nothing. You see Casimir look at that fucking intently for a second in some sort of odd recognition. But he, kind of waves it off, and he will, whether you like it or not, he will kind of grasp you at least on the shoulders and give you a squeeze and release you from this fresh hell that is his house.
He's like, please go home.
Yeah, please. And bring
Please,
your new
I'm
friends
tired.
over. Yes, I'm tired. There's a bleeding man here. There's a lot of politics involved. Just go. No. But he is very happy to see that you're okay. And he wants you to check it, to come see him before you leave, basically.
She will leave his tent.
Okay.
And wander off back to hers to make sure if everything is okay.
Everything is the same. It is untouched. You get the sense, like Casimir is very good at delegating, like a guard shift, quote unquote, to make sure all your stuff is secured. So there are people, despite even the Vistani keeping an eye on things, there are elves that could patrol the perimeter. Nobody has been in here and touched anything.
That's all she wanted to know.
Cool.
She go
You were
leave.
safe. You can
She's
pick
gonna
out a
go-
nice change of clothes for the road.
Yeah, considering everything.
Yeah. Get all gussied up for this dinner party you don't know you're going to yet.
Oh,
And I think
boy.
that's
Always
where-
dressing nice though.
I feel like it's
Cool,
been
right,
too
but-
many
This
times
time there's no
about that.
holes and blood on it.
That's it. Let's scoot on to the next little area here. To the orphanage. As the creaking frame of the building reacts to the veritable horde of children heading off to tend to their chores.
That's literally what they are. Just this undistinguishable mass, just
It's like an
undulating.
amoeba. Yeah.
undulating.
It's they're very classic orphan, you know, very little orphan Annie, very you know, hard knock life, very much wearing an orphan's outfit.
I just
like
rolled
the
that to
beginning-
make sure that I could
but-
roll. Sorry.
Yes. And what's your first turn? Because you're first in the order.
Oh, okay. I see the kid in the distance, right?
Yeah. So, as the headmistress, who may not be much younger than the building herself, looks at you expectantly. The small boy just kind of stares blankly at you from like the room behind, the hallway, past the stairs.
Riley, I mean, just to continue along this terrible aesthetic that I'm doing, just being terribly awkward. Riley is going to see the children wide-eyed coming towards him, and he's going to start taking a few awkward steps backwards because at least he sees the kid, and maybe he's not quite ready to deal with the oncoming horde.
Yeah. You see that, like, if you look at the picture I used in the Conca, that's definitely the vibe. It's many small children who are kind of like, doing the little daisy chain and like going off to their respective areas. They just came probably out of like the dining hall room. And some of them move up the stairs and some of them just kind of move past you. All of them just kind of look up at you like, oh, what a funny looking person. But as you kind of take steps back, the woman just kind of looks at you and, cocks an eyebrow and says, "Can I help you?"
No.
I'm sorry. You just come in wandering and... Are you lost?
Are you an orphan?
No. No, I'm not. I'm not lost.
And what can I do for you?
I, was looking for someone.
Yes? Are you looking to adopt? Did you lose a child?
No. And Riley will just point towards the kid peering around the fucking corner
Yeah.
and just say, I wanted to make sure that Morgantha brought him.
She kind of like crinkles her eyebrows confusedly. She's never heard that name before. But she said, remember,
Strange
Morgantha
name.
wasn't let into the city.
Oh, right.
She says, and she'll turn to look at the boy and she'll say,
Oi, you! On with your chores now.
and the little boy will just kind of like take a couple steps back, still looking at you, Riley, and just kind of turn the corner and go. Roll me perception.
Do I have to set fire to this place too?
Yeah.
If you want to fail your second test.
11.
He's holding something. You can't quite make out what it is. With an 11.
A knife! No!
And no. But she'll say,
What, him? He was just dropped off here about 4 days ago by the town guard. Are you his caretaker?
No.
What business do you have with him?
I just knew that somebody in Barovia took him. and I wanted to make sure that he was alive.
Are you his keeper?
No.
How do you know him?
I saw his father give him to an old woman. And the next day, he wasn't around the old woman, and she said she brought him here. But then the gate people said that they wouldn't let her in.
Well, if she were an out-of-doors peddler, then I can see why. But if he's here, safe and sound, why are you so concerned?
I don't know.
Are you,
She gestures to her head.
John Cena.
No, she kind of looks at you with scrutiny, not realizing, like, not knowing what the fuck is going on.
That's fine.
Yeah, but she will say
as intended.
Yeah, right.
do you know his name?
No.
Well, we don't either. He's not said a word since he's got here. Look, he seems to recognize you. So whatever connection you think you don't have, you might. Do you want to speak to the boy?
Okay.
At least I know what to bleeding call him.
Okay.
You two might be more similar than I thought.
Sort of like how you're similar to the building.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Bleeding.
She kind of mutters something off to herself as she walks down the hall. She said,
You. Come on then.
Oh, is she trusting to me?
yes.
Okay.
And you can kind of follow her back toward toward that kind of back room. And as as you kind of go through some of the corridors, you can tell that this didn't used to be an orphanage, whatever this was. It might have been, just like a large house or something, but it was clearly converted, though it is quite well lived in. It's probably been an orphanage for upwards of like several decades at this point anyway.
500 years.
500 years.
But whatever it was, it's an orphanage now. And she kind of like, when she comes around the corner to see that like there's like a duster just kind of sitting on the ground as the boy, well not sitting on the ground, sitting on the ground is the boy with a duster in one hand, upside down, like feather side toward the floor, and it's kind of like walking like it's a little person, and he's got something else in his other hand that is the thing that you couldn't quite see, and you actually see a stuffed toy, like a stuffed doll. It's not very pretty. It's very old and worn, and it just kind of looks like a little doll of a little kid, like a weird one of those kind of weird Amish dolls, but with these empty eyes. And she just kind of like,
hello? Do you know what you're supposed to be doing with that?
And he just doesn't really acknowledge her. And she goes,
useless. All right, well, you talk to him, right? Maybe you can get his name. He don't like to talk to me.
And she'll kind of like she'll step away for a minute. You get the sense that this woman is very overworked as she kind of moves on to the next calamity, as you hear like a bucket fall from the other room and a splash of water, and she kind of toodles off to go and deal with that very quickly.
Okay.
And this little boy just sits on the ground playing with the dolls.
Okay. I guess Riley will kind of loom over kind of watching the kid do a play before kind of circling around and sitting down in front of him.
Yeah, you sit down, and after a while, the kid's just kind of like, tootling around with the stuff, and then without really looking at you, he just kind of like holds out the duster toward you.
Riley will take the duster and sort of make the duster start walking.
Yeah, and you will kind of like the play is basically the doll walks up to the duster and then walks away, and then the duster walks up to the doll and walks away. It just kind of, it's a little repetitive.
Right. I mean,
but he seems content with this.
Right. This is a problem-solving question. Riley will then, I suppose, using nonverbal communication, try and sort of create some sort of like, I don't know, rapport with the kid.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. I don't know how that looks.
Let's make it an insight check.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll give you advantage because I didn't even see that you rolled. Roll again because you're playing with him.
12.
12, that's fine. It takes a minute of you just kind of like tootling dolls back and forth, and eventually this woman who has not really even introduced herself kind of comes back in and sees the both of you doing this, and just kind of rolls her eyes and sighs exasperatedly, but walks off. Clearly you're harmless, so she just lets it happen. But as you're kind of playing with this, he stops doing the walking, and he just kind of sits cross-legged and takes the doll back to himself and is just kind of like futzing with it, fucking with the clothes and stuff like that, just kind of in his own world. He's done with the interactive portion of this play session.
Riley will take the duster and say, I killed your pants. No. Wouldn't that be funny?
Wouldn't it be nice?
And that's the extent of the interaction.
Yeah.
He will take the duster and he will sort of just, I guess, talk to the duster. Not really talking to the kid. Well, not like directly talking to the kid. As he sort of, and he'll say, when I was little, I was ignored a lot too, and so I didn't talk. But I had a brother that would talk to me and play with me. And then eventually it got easier to talk about things. Until he had to go away. And then I didn't talk much again. Unless it was in letters. It's okay if you don't want to talk. And it's okay if you don't like the lady. But sometimes it's easier to listen to what the lady asks you to do. And find ways to talk later.
Stupid Felix can't write.
Maybe the lady will teach you.
Naughty Felix is quiet.
Who says you're naughty?
He's still fucking with the doll. He hasn't stopped. He's just kind of like, talking quietly to himself.
I don't think
But
you're...
yeah, he gives that big shrug.
I don't think you're bad.
Daddy said I was empty.
Daddy's not going to say much of anything anymore.
This is like that Game Grumps skip about killing your parents.
Yeah. That sounded like a threat, but it already happened.
The lady said so.
Yeah, she knew. Are you upset? Does the lady here tell you that you're empty?
Guess we're burning down an orphanage if the answer's yes.
Too many of us. She doesn't talk.
Do you talk to the other kids?
They say stupid. Weird. They say empty sometimes.
You can always show them that you're not empty.
Could be. There's lots of empty people.
Where?
All over. Mummy was empty.
Was your dad empty?
No. The lady's not empty. None of... Maybe one or two other kids is empty. You're like half empty.
I can see that.
She said you'd be full empty before long.
The pie lady?
Nods.
I don't want to be empty.
Don't get a choice. They already said you was gonna be. But you're different than the other empty people because once you're empty, you'll get something else inside. That's what you're supposed to be. That's what she said.
What do you think?
Little things can grow. Maybe the half will fill up and they ain't got no more room. They could put something inside me if I was empty.
You're not empty.
Yeah, I am.
Do you think that you can fill up?
Shrugs.
How should I fill up?
She didn't say you could.
But what do you think?
I think that empty people don't ask those questions. So, you're already at least a little.
Well, empty people wouldn't be able to answer that question either. And you
You
answered
don't
it.
know anything about empty people. There's all kinds of people that's empty. Mummy was empty and she used to talk about something sometimes. She didn't talk much either.
Well, maybe the reason why I'm not all empty is because I had somebody to talk to.
Maybe.
Maybe if you don't want to be empty, you can try and find somebody to talk to.
I could talk to other people whenever I want. I don't want to sometimes.
Is it because it's hard?
It's because they don't want to hear what an empty person has to say. They ain't got nothing to say.
Why don't we start with something to say? And then you'll have something to say.
Sometimes I'll get told what I'm to say.
That's because you're little.
No. It's because they want something else in me.
Like what?
Not empty.
And as he kind of says that, you hear kind of like clomping down the hall as the woman returns and says,
Any luck?
Riley will look up at her, probably at the same way the kid is looking up at her, with that same fucking
yeah, 1,000-yard stare.
1,000-yard stare.
All right, then. Have you found out his name? Where's Millivodge when you need him? All right. Well, I'm sorry if I couldn't help you any further, but there's a little bit of a mess going on, so if you don't mind, visiting hours and all that.
And I guess Riley will sort of look back down, give a small shrug, and hand the duster back to the kid.
Roll me an insight check.
17.
She was very disappointed when you didn't confirm that you got the kid's name. You can see the overworkedness about this woman, including that desperate plea for Millivodge to help. There's a lot going on, and you do get the vibe that she like genuinely wishes she could communicate with this kid.
Riley will sort of stand up and dust himself off before saying, I think that you should let him get the hang of this place. It's not Barovia.
That's why I let him play with the duster. Plenty of other kids to be doing the chores, at least for right now.
I have a question.
Go on.
Do you see kids that are empty?
How do you mean?
Like a vase, but there's nothing in it.
You've not been to Barovia long, have you, love?
No.
She kind of like shakes her head. This is not something she likes to talk about. Is the sense that you're getting, but she will say,
look, it was a girl who was with child, you know, a couple of years back. Just a girl from town. And, well, her girl is here with us now because when she was born, she didn't cry. And that happens sometimes. But usually it's an indicator that the child is empty.
she gets a little like sour taste in her mouth when she says that word. I guess I'll give a content warning for a very specific type of ableism that only exists in Barovia.
Mm-hmm.
But it's ableism nonetheless.
When a child is born empty, it means that they don't have a soul. Lots of folks like that round here. I try to talk to the father about it, and he says it's something to do with the mists. Mists keep everything trapped, even souls. And as such, there's only so many that can go around. So when a person dies, at least here, their soul don't get to go nowhere. Instead, it waits till it can come back as someone else. Over and over and over again. And sometimes there's more people. There's more people than there is souls. Lots of kids like that end up here. Or worse.
If somebody is born empty, could the vase get filled later?
What you're talking about is possession. Dark magics. Like the kind that...
And she spits a little on the ground, just a tiny bit.
Ain't nobody grown a soul. Leastwise, not that I've seen.
I don't know anything about that.
Well, if you're not from here, then I don't think you've ever had to deal with it. But that's just the way things are in the valley.
But
Big.
I don't think that you should treat them as if they don't have souls.
What am I supposed to do? What?
Treat them like people. I think you might see a difference. But I don't know anything about this.
She kind of nods, and she will, like, not surreptitiously, but very quickly just scrub the underside of her eye. And,
Maybe you can play with him. I know you're busy, but I think you like the game.
she can't even speak. She just kind of nods, like, yeah, that is something that she could have tried this whole time, but she hasn't.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's just... I've got a boy that helps me out, and he's he's ill right now, so it's just been me. He's usually much better at this than I am. And I would to God that he were all right now, but that's the way things are.
What's wrong with him?
She like tries to articulate, but she just can't, and she just like jerks her head. Come on, basically, and she will start for the stairs.
Okay.
And if you follow her, she'll take you up to kind of like the common room, where like all the beds are laid out, and there are sheets hung up around one of them, very haphazardly, like nailed into the ceiling for privacy. And as you kind of, she parts the sheets, you just see a boy, maybe about 19, kind of, I realize, looks a little bit like Keanu Reeves, like an angry Keanu Reeves, laying with his eyes wide open, sweating, like he's in some kind of pain, but completely non-responsive.
He felt that way less than a 10-day ago. Even the fathers looked over him, don't know what it is, but like I said, that's just the way things are sometimes. Milivoj is his name. He were here for quite a long time, and he decided to stick around after he aged out. So he's been helping me with the kids. How's that for gratitude?
Riley will look at the person on the bed and probably unblinkingly staring. I mean, he already doesn't blink very often, but it's more sort of like googly eye staring at the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because he doesn't like seeing this particular imagery.
Mm-hmm. You saw it enough at home when you would go in to see your father, and it looks very similar and they could never find out what was wrong with him either.
Maybe I can find out.
Well, you can certainly try, love, and more power to you. But even the Morning Lord in his glory couldn't tend to him. You know, ever since he gone like this, we've had runaways. Just can't keep me on my grip on the situation, I suppose.
Riley will sort of say, "May I sit here?"
Whatever you like, love.
And she will just say,
I'm go down and get a cup of tea. Yeah.
and she will leave you.
Okay, and Riley is going to settle, and he doesn't have. I guess the book learning kid inside of him would probably refer back to his own journal and his obsessive note taking on the human body, or the body, and what was happening to his father. Sort of like, I think that's what Riley would have done. He would have just started writing stuff and writing every little bit and piece of it to try and see if he could figure out, like, it's like a little mini WebMD, if you will,
right?
But not able to figure it out, and
just like real WebMD.
Yeah, and probably he's just gonna see if he can continue from where he left off then.
Yeah. I think we'll close out the scene there, as you're kind of taking notes. Last but not least, God bless you for your patience, Julian. I'm so sorry. But there was some cool stuff happening. As the congregation files out around you, Luke, Father Petrovich will kind of, greet the last few people, as Irina and Ismark kind of wander the chapel, taking a look at things. We didn't really get to check in with you last time when you kind of got the vibes of this place, but what is Luke feeling right now?
Luke is trying his best to perhaps see what the source of this actual holiness is, because of his previous feelings about the men who run the Church of Lathander.
Yes.
So he is putting up pleasantries towards Father Petrovich, and he also knows that this is supposed to be a place that Irina and Ismark are going to be safe. He wants to ensure that it stays that way. Because, last thing that I think he would want is for them to think that this place is safe, and then it's suddenly not safe, and then something bad happens to her. So
yes. Okay, roll me either a religion or an insight.
Well, I'm better at insight. Let's go with that.
This is a vibe check.
Vibe check.
There's a lot of those happening
That's
tonight.
a 16 vibe check.
Yeah. You can feel, for lack of a better term, positive energy about the place. It is weak, but it is there. He's quite a bit of it radiating from the father himself. Like, it's almost like as he kind of speaks to the congregation, they feel this kind of renewed sense of vigor a little bit. You get the sense that at least from the vibes here, this guy is doing all he can, to actually uphold Lathander's values.
He got anything on him?
not that you can pinpoint, besides the obvious, he's wearing like a holy symbol on a chain, similar to yours. Not, well, similar, like I said, but not the same, because you have a funny one.
Maybe you should check to see if he knows the secret handshake.
But you feel a vague holiness about this place, which is what you should feel when you enter, you know, a good church, at least in the multiverse of D&D. But as you're kind of like scanning the place, he will kind of return his way over to you and say, kind of while Irina and Ismark are away, so he can kind of speak to you, cleric. And he will say, so you bring them from Barovia then?
Yes, we were under the impression that this would be the safest place for our fair young lady. He kind of nods his head off into whatever direction Irina went off to.
Yeah. I'm afraid, and I'm sure that you have learned, that safety is a relative term in Barovia. But this is hallowed ground. I should think that any who request sanctuary will be protected by his light while within these walls. But forgive me for asking, is there not a church in their village?
There is a structure standing. Unfortunately, the father who was running the church, unfortunately, decided to, well, stray from his light. Decided to keep a vampire spawn underneath in the Undercroft. Attacked men within the village so that his son could eat. I dare say there's no one running the church anymore.
See. Well, that is a shame, to be sure. But those who seek sanctuary are welcome here, under my gaze. This place is not perfect. The place he is referring to is Vallaki itself.
Sure.
But I should think that within the Cathedral of St. Andrews, all those who wander are not lost.
When he says the name St. Andrews, is that something that maybe Father Salami might have talked about?
This is gonna be difficult. I need a history check to see if he ever mentioned it.
It's a 19, so...
You've heard the name Saint Andrel before, coming from Solove, probably in a list of saints of Lathander. This was something he kind of rattled off the cuff during one sermon or one lecture at some point, that probably stuck with you because in your reading of the holy text, Saint Andrel, as well as another name that I'll give it to you because you heard it from the Taroka reading, Saint Markovia, are two names that do not appear in the holy texts or in the modern day teachings, I should say. Like Santa Claus doesn't fucking appear in the Bible, but we all know Saint Nick.
Sure. Okay, I think as Luke kind of ponders on that, he'll kind of cross his arms, you know, in like that priestly way. Like you hold your hands over your front.
Over your tum.
Over your tum. And he'll say, "Forgive me. I'm not exactly from Barovia. And at least in the lands where I was taught, we weren't exactly told of the martyrdom of Saint Andrel or Saint Markovovich.
Markovia.
Close.
Yeah, no, that was
Sorry,
good.
sorry. I feel like everything is itch in this game.
There's a lot of them, so you're fucking right.
Yeah.
But he will say, yes, I'd imagine that our tales have not reached past the mists. St. Andrel, and you are well read for having spent so little time here. St. Markovia, the last of the paladins that fought in the war against Strahd and the von Zarevich armies before the mists fell, and indeed after. St. Andrel defended this town until it was claimed, laying down his life. St. Markovia, well, a paladin of an entirely different religious order, close to the Morning Lord's light, but not directly influenced by it. A paladin of the Knights of the Silver Dragon.
Does that ring a bell?
Not in the slightest.
Okay,
Not in the slightest. It's a Barovia thing.
Sure.
The Order of the Knights of the Silver Dragon were a conclave of paladins that existed to the west, up in Solenka, the last bastion of fighters against the unholy force led by Argynvost himself. But that is a tale for another time.
Of course, and you can tell me that tale whenever you wish, but, if I may, is there perhaps a church of Markovia in said region?
The Abbey is the only standing church dedicated to her sacrifice. In Kresk, to the west.
He nods with that and kind of makes a footnote for said quest.
Yeah, you're right.
With the Taroka reading.
Another church if this one doesn't work out. Period.
Take him to something. All right, forget the Morning Lord. We'll do this Silver Knights thing. Just go over
Fine,
there.
that'll work. It'll work at a pinch. But he remarks that St. Andrel literally defended this exact land, and the church was reconsecrated in his name.
Okay.
And this was hundreds of years ago.
Sure. Was St. Andrew interred here by chance?
You are wise beyond your years. In fact, his bones are kept beneath this very chapel.
There we go. There's the saint relic.
I dare say that is why this ground remains consecrated.
Time to grave rob so that it's no longer consecrated.
I was gonna say, like, no, that's probably what's gonna happen.
Let me ruin the sanctity. That's probably like right before we go. We snatch some bones, desecrate these lands, and then go kill him.
Can we just take the bones to Ravenloft, stab Strahd with them, and then...
It's a funny
That's
idea.
holy enough.
You gotta get there, though. You gotta get to the man. He will. You go ahead, please.
So that would certainly, outside of what I feel from you, that might be most definitely why this place feels as bright.
A light in the darkness. Even Strahd himself cannot step within these walls. And I dare the motherfucker to try.
Damn! I was gonna
Not
say
even
this
God himself could tear this place down.
This man is badass suddenly.
Yeah, no.
Please make that canon. This guy's a
rips his
baddie.
robes off and he's super buff underneath.
Oh my god, he's Iroh?
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's like Iroh in prison.
You mean Father Solve, right?
Yes, Father Solove.
Father Solve is not as old as this
So
guy
what I'm
is.
hearing is we
No,
can't
but Father
snatch
Solove is like
bones.
prison ripped.
Yeah.
We ain't snatching bones anytime soon if it is bones.
You
Yeah.
leave those motherfuckers here.
Leave him here.
Over my dead body.
Luke will kind of, he'll nod at that and he'll say, I presume then that such reliquaries, would be very much kept under lock and key.
Yes, I am the only one. Well, the only one who has intimate knowledge of the reliquary.
Good, good. I think that will... He nods at that. I think that would suffice. Do you mind if we speak more frank?
Of course.
Now, you know that I'm not necessarily from here, and the people that I came with outside of one also don't hail from these lands. And I don't know how you feel about seers, but a little bird told me many things. And a little bird told...
Speak of the Vistani.
Oh no, we don't have to ruin the illusion. He shakes like one hand.
He will nod. He's like, yes, the importance of theatricality in church is alive and well.
Sure. And while Markovia is one of those places that I do need to see, one of the stories that was told to our dear friend here, and he kind of gestures off to, I don't know, I just imagine Irina is just oohing and eyeing at what's here.
Yeah. Irina is up there like she's fucking around with like the not touching them, but like there are golden candlesticks and stained glass that is mostly intact.
Yeah.
And Ismark is just kind of making sure she's okay.
The story that was woven for this young woman, and outside of what we had experienced at the manor, I think she needs... Well, I don't want to say just protection. I think that she wants to protect herself and perhaps might need the tools.
Do you sense the divine about her?
She's certainly interested in it. Just overwhelmed with everything else that's been going on. The blackouts, I imagine, are quite hard to deal with.
Yes, she will be safe here, and perhaps learn in turn to save herself.
You wouldn't happen to have any type of paladin training, would you?
I'm afraid I am ill-equipped to carry a sword, but...
Oh, come now. We can all carry a sword in almost dire of needs and times.
Dire, yes, but there are others. As much as I hate to say it, the Baron's man, Izek Stratsny, is quite an accomplished fighter if she needs to learn swordplay. Though I see that at your hip. Perhaps you would be the one to tutor her, if indeed you intend to stay in Vallaki for long.
Well, he kind of looks at his own sword and kind of taps it. Maybe with Ismark's help, I dare say he probably has a bit more training under his belt than I do.
What?
It's like he's higher level than me.
But he will just kind of like, give you a nod, like that's the fair, basically, is what he's going for. He says, many that live in Vallaki to this day are refugees. Some come from Barovia, some from Berez. He has a slight pause in his voice when he mentions the name, the city of Berez, which you have not heard about since you've gotten here. But he's a little bit, saddened about that. But he will say, do you suspect that she is in more danger than someone else? Why seek a church rather than high walls and a blade?
Well, considering that the faith is what spared her, at least the one night that we had to deal with the debacle of shadows and bestial creatures outside of it. I think that it's important. And, like I mentioned before, it seems like it's important to her, so perhaps I dare say both faith and swordship might do her well. That is, if she doesn't want to play princess.
If we are speaking frankly, does the devil seek her out?
Oh, absolutely. I thought that was already established.
There are tales of others who have been the object of his infatuation for one reason or another.
And
there is one less city in Barovia now because of it.
The one that you just mentioned?
When 100 or so years ago at this point, he was denied the satisfaction of his adoration. When he says denied the satisfaction, you think that there's a little bit more implied there.
Sure.
Actually, roll me an insight if you want me to just tell you.
Sure, why not? That's a natural 20. 20.
He's not trying to be he's trying to be delicate, but when the last person that he was so interested in was killed, is what he's getting at.
Mm-hmm.
He rained down fire, lightning, floods, and Berez now stands no more than ruined rubble in a sodden marshland.
It sounds to me like the devil is a petulant child that gets upset when he loses his toys.
You are safe within these walls to say so.
Ballsy.
Luke kind of smirks ever so slightly, considering what he told him in person.
Yeah.
That being said, does this worry you to have her here?
As I said, St. Andrew's sacrifice keeps us all safe.
Not after we fucking grave rob.
I don't...
No, this isn't where the relic is.
This
is where the Wanderer is.
What? No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
This is the Church of St. Andrew, not the Church of St.
Markovia.
I thought
Markovia
St.
is where...
Abbey was here.
No. The abbey in Markovia is the one that has our ally, which is the Mists, right?
Yes, the card. So this is the Church of St. Andrew. The ally...
But the relic still isn't here.
No, true. Correct.
Not the one that is in our reading.
Yeah, the one in your reading is in the Abbey of St. Markovia, which is in Krisk.
No, that's not where the relic is. The relic
not the
is
relic, your ally.
Yeah, our ally is there.
But why is there a relic here?
There's not. There is a relic, but it's not your relic.
Remember what Michael said is that with the card readings, there could be multiples of things outside of our reading.
True.
I mean, yeah.
So
this is not where one of your fated relics is. There is a literal relic here in that the bones of this saint are in a reliquary under the church.
Oh, that's why you've been saying relic. Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a literal relic. Not just one of the ones that you've been read to.
Yeah, it's like those saint relics in Catholic Church where they're in a gold box and all that shit.
Who's the skull that they have?
That's all bedazzled?
Yeah. What skull? It's the skull of some saint or pope or whatever.
Probably like Peter's or some shit.
There are a lot of those, yeah.
Those are the chains of St. Peter's, and I saw them, and my Italian advisor told me it was bullshit.
It's like you ever see In Bruges?
there's that one, oh no, it's such a good movie, first of all, but there's like a church they go to in medieval Bruges, that like it's called the Church of the Holy Blood or whatever the fuck, and there's a vial that's in the church. It's a real place you can go to that is said to contain the last few drops of Jesus Christ's blood.
Yeah.
And they
Hold
say
on, while Jesus is being crucified, let me go over with my test tube and get a few drip drops.
yeah, it has like it's supposedly a rag that soaked up some of his blood on that day. That's in this little tube, and they say that on certain days at certain times of the year it turns back into liquid for just a moment.
Oh, that's like that Saint Mary statue that cries blood or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably like rust or something.
Probably. But
it's also like the toaster that burns the Virgin Mary into your toast. That's in a little glass box in the Vatican.
Or the Pope hat Dorito.
Yes.
Or the 1980s macaroni and cheese in the shape of Jesus.
Oh yeah,
There
you're
you
right.
go. See? if you had any of these, Strahd would be a cakewalk.
Yeah, I think we need to find the holy Dorito chip.
You need to feed him the holy Dorito and he just dies.
Well,
You're like,
that's
"Oh, I'm
why we have to
Here's
go.
potato.
That's why we
Here,
have
have
to
your
go back to
potato
Morgana.
chip.
She'll give us the Holy Pope.
Have a
Dorito chip.
potato.
But okay, he says that. Luke will nod and say, "Well, depending of whether or not we lose our hospitality at the inn, would it be okay if I brought some of my traveling companions?"
Of course. And the burgomaster may be touchy. But as long as I am here, and as long as my younger sister is married to the man, you will find sanctuary here.
Luke kind of does like a blink at that. I'm assuming he senses
He's-
some annoyance there.
He's like,
Maybe a little.
there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just throw away that whole suitcase for later.
Luke just kind of like, that's a problem for future us.
That's a plot hook for later.
Oh, well.
For later, more like tonight.
Yeah. But I think if that kind of pans out, I think Luke will probably bid the man goodbye, and probably because he has to catch up with everybody else.
Right. Yeah. And Irina and Ismark will kind of reconvene with you eventually.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He was gonna go over there.
Awesome. Go ahead.
He'll be like, "So, how do we like the place?"
It is beautiful. I've never seen holy works like this.
Oh, with the glass.
Yes, it is wonderful. A bit bloody, perhaps, but
Oh, that's nothing a bit of soap and water couldn't fix.
no,
She kind of like pushes you a little bit.
the pictures, I've had enough of battles for a little bit, but this is nice.
Oh, those. And he kind of he looks over, I'm assuming there's like those medieval martyr paintings.
Exactly.
like-
Yeah. It's the one of them is the defending of the mount. The king of the hill against the armies of darkness or whatever the fuck, and then Saint Markovia being martyred, or Saint Andrel. I'm sorry.
Sure. And he'll say, "Well, honestly, I've seen worse in my church. I mean, there's one where," and he'll kind of he'll list a couple things
Yeah.
before kind of chuckling to himself, and he's like, "That man there, unfortunately, who is defending this place to the death, his very remains is what keeping this place as holy as it could be."
Sanctuary.
Like some
My
sort of
sanctuary.
talisman or something.
Depending on how many are left, yes. He doesn't know how many bones are.
You're right.
But you think that this is a safe place, safe enough at least for
Safe enough.
I think that this is probably by far the safest of places. But I don't think that Irina should necessarily be stuck here. And he kind of like he nudges Ismark, and he goes, "So, considering that the father made mention of my sword, and frankly, you have 2 attacks and I don't."
I'm sorry, what? He's like, huh?
Frankly,
Well,
you're.
it only matters if they fucking hit.
It's okay. You don't have the same problem like Noel has.
I think your to hit is higher than mine, but whatever.
But you're a bit more skilled with the sword than I am. But perhaps if you're, and he kind of like he half pivots to Irina, if you're interested in faith and a sword, I think you would actually make a wonderful paladin.
Like a. She points at the stained glass.
Like that, but far more
Less likely to die.
beautiful.
We're martyring Irina?
Less dead.
Well, that is the hope, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, look, consider it like this. It's just the father, myself, and your brother all giving you the tools necessary for you to be able to survive on your own in case, well, Lord forbid anything happens to us. And
What?
besides, if and when we manage to get all of our lovely allies and
Magic vampire killing relics.
that, yes, something about a sword, you might be able to do the final blow yourself.
She kind of gets a little fired up at that thought for a second.
Hell
and then, like, she has
yeah.
like the wide-eyed, like, oh wait, I have to get close to that freak. But then she'll be like,
I would like that very much,
But
yes.
like, hell yeah.
Okay, then it's settled. Part of the day we'll do training of the sword, physical sword, and then the other times we can worry on getting you connected to faith and to the Morning Lord.
Yes, I want to learn how to do that with the when you gave it to me.
Ah, yes, protection from evil.
Yes, whatever made the thing glow and made him leave.
He nods at that and he goes,
Let's learn that part first.
he's like, you'll learn that at level 2. Actually, no.
Oh, and where you shot out a beam of light and it turned into a knife. That is what I want.
Luke considers the skill set of a paladin. I think a paladin gets a cooler version of spiritual weapon, honestly, if I remember correctly.
yeah, they can like smite and shit like that. Like, but anyway, like she just goes on like oh, all the light that you can shoot out of your fingers. That's cool, and I want it. And she seems excited about it.
Okay.
She seems like she and Ismark seem like for a moment fucking calm,
Mhm.
especially when you said like this is the safest place.
Mhm.
Like Ismark like grew 10 pounds lighter. Like all the stress left his shoulders.
That's good. And then I think, they'll kind of riff back and forth and maybe like, I don't know, like pencil in a schedule or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I think when, after they're done with that, Luke will kind of gesture and be like, well, I'm going to check with the others. I'm assuming you both want to stay here for the night.
Well, if this whole place is truly as safe as it seems to be, if they have truly had no attacks, then perhaps we can stay at the inn one more night. Yes, one more night. Perhaps, we should celebrate, yes? With drinks? If we are going to be living here from now on, then we might as well get to know the local flavor.
I concur. So,
Then it's settled. You are buying me a drink, and you are buying me a drink.
And she will kind of like walk. She will start walking with her head a little high.
Luke just kind of like tips his head at Ismark. He'll say, "It's fine. I'll get both of the drinks. I don't think you have much coin on you right now."
Thank you. I'll find a way to repay you. I'm sure.
With your double attack.
You and your double attack. Slap him on the ass.
Yeah.
But yeah, well,
your hand like launches backwards. It bounces so hard.
Jesus, yeah, I lose my arm.
It's tight.
And yeah, I think like Luke will kind of call out to the father that they'll be back.
Of course, and he will give you a nod and a smile and a little wave, and I'll let you get on with your business. And
just pray that the bones don't get stolen and overnight.
Yeah. And you all eventually will reconvene where you said you would.
I imagine.
Yes, go ahead. At the Blue Water Inn.
I was gonna say. I imagine Mordecai gets there first, and you guys come in on Mordecai with like a hand like tight in his hair, and he's nursing like a glass of whiskey. Like he looks absolutely distraught.
Did something happen where the festival grounds are, or
you're just happy to see me?
Do we have a drinking problem?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
This is the first drink I've had in 5 years.
Oh no!
Then something definitely happened.
Take that chip and throw it in the trash.
He's gonna start to talk and like, and then
as you start talking, Luke kind of turns and gets the first drink for Irina.
I met the burgomaster.
Oh, the Baron?
I've never had to be such a kiss ass in my entire life. And he's gonna take a good drink of it.
Okay.
And I will also say, during all of this, Irina and Ismark are gonna be chilling at the bar. You guys have some time to yourselves to discuss everything. I will say, to continue to interrupt, unfortunately, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The vibe in here is pretty mellow. It's like we'll call it late afternoon at this point. There are some regulars who are hanging out here. No fucking sign of Bluto, the man who I forgot to put in the conca, the horrible drunk, who fish did not bring back any fish yet, but he's trying, I'm sure. But there's another. I was going to say character, but that's a little meta. But then also, this guy's a character hanging out in the bar, who is sitting at a table, not like alone. You know, he's alone at his table, but it's like a small table that's kind of close to some others. And he's already kind of flipped his chair around to talk to the patrons next to him, who are just kind of like listening in on all of this. This dude appears to be a half-elf who is wearing the most brightly colored outfit you have maybe ever seen, even outside of Barovia. And he's got this big, twiddly little mustache. And he says, you catch him kind of in the middle of like regaling tales to whoever this person is, to whoever he's speaking to, basically. Everybody roll me a Actually, I'm just going to make it Mordecai because you've been here the longest. Roll me a perception check.
What's he talking about?
You rolled a 6. Well,
he's talking about Barney things.
Up to you. If you want to use your inspiration, there's something.
Mordecai.
Okay.
is so tired of people butting in on shit, so he's not going to.
Nice. You just hear this kind of. Maybe it leads you to dive into the drink a little bit more because this is another kind of like big presence in this room.
It makes
that is
Mordecai
like,
want to shrivel up and die.
Yeah, he is kind of like the life of the place right now. But besides that, like, he's only talking to people who want to be talked to.
This
basically,
kills the man.
This kills the man. So please continue with your conversation. There's a fucking weirdo with a mustache in here.
Aren't you a city god? Don't you have to kiss ass on a daily basis?
I want to know the truth. I only had the job because he was obligated. I didn't kiss ass, I just didn't say anything. This is the most, like, animated you've seen Mordecai.
It's because he's drunk, right?
He's not drunk. Like, he's had enough.
He's never had people to bitch to about work
He's
before.
he's literally never had people to bitch to. Michael is that's a perfect read.
Well, did anything come of talking to the Baron?
Oh, get this. He invited us. No, not invited. Basically told me that we are to come to his manor and have, what did he say, cigars, and he'll kind of like look at his glass and shake it around a little bit. I don't know. What do you have with cigars? Also, this man is delusional.
Luke was like about to say what goes with cigars because his father smoked a lot of cigars. But then he stops himself.
Lung
The
cancer.
answer is always brandy.
The answer is lung cancer.
The answer is lung cancer with your cigars.
Oh. But yes, this man is delusional, and he thinks that the people of the town are genuinely happy.
I mean, you must admit, they're happier than they were in Barovia.
He'll openly roll his eyes at that.
Think of it this way, Mordecai. It's a way for us to understand how things are run here. Considering that based on what we were told earlier this morning, on how easy it is for us to get thrown into the stockades, it might be best to get on this person's good side.
Oh, I've already apparently succeeded.
Well, then we're halfway there.
Well,
He touched me and wheeled me around town. He's just gonna
Did you enjoy yourself?
and finish his drink.
Just down.
In response to Cassia.
I found out a number of things. Apparently there was a third city. He kind of like leans in and kind of gets a little quiet. It's not here anymore.
A fourth city.
A fourth city. There was a fourth city. It's not here anymore. Apparently, our Dark Lord gets very unhappy when he doesn't get what he wants. Specifically when the thing that he wants dies. And decided to completely destroy a city. It's called Berest.
Berez. B-E-R-E-Z. It's on the Conca.
Okay. It was Berez. That being said, hopefully that won't happen here. And he'll kind of give like a brief lowdown about the church, and say that there is he won't say the bones, but he'll say that there is a holy relic that is keeping that place safe, and that it's inspired Irina and Ismark to take a more productive path than just being scared. And then I think lastly he'll say,
I think before you even finish that, as you say, it made Irina and Ismark not feel quite as scared. Like, Irina and Ismark are at the bar, and they are kind of like laughing and talking with Danica and Erwin, who are behind the bar. Like, this is the most animated you've literally ever seen them.
It was Mordecai, but for different reasons.
Yeah. And I will also say,
Whew.
Erwin, as you've all kind of come in and maybe you catch his eye, he will give you like a nod. Not like a shitty nod, but like a nod, like, you know, time has passed and we can talk later.
Like me when I'm driving and I nod at my neighbors when I drive by.
There you go.
when you have something
It's
to say to them
amicable.
later. Okay.
Yes, right. Sorry, please continue.
Sure. Luke will kind of like do the back before saying, and I found out a location to where perhaps one of our new friends are supposed to be, where the Abbey of Markovia sits. It's quite an interesting tale, actually, and he'll start talking about the whole saints thing.
Mordecai lays his head down on the table.
Kasia just rests her head in her palm, just waiting.
What is Riley doing while all of this conversation has been happening?
Reading his book.
Yeah, just kind of intently.
Mm-hmm.
Mordecai's listening, by the way. Caveat.
Of course, yeah. He's listening, but his head is down.
Very.
Kasia's just waiting for a chance to speak.
Yeah.
As the saint lecture goes on.
It's not so much a lecture, it's just more like saying, like, hey, there's this chick who did this. It was super cool. Maybe our ally is there.
There you go.
So.
Well, that's good. That, at least, I mean, is Marco feeling a little better? I am sad that I couldn't inspire some sort of self-worth and they had to go to a god.
Oh no. She's going to be defending herself.
By accepting powers from a god.
Aren't you a warlock?
We're not so different, you and I.
He like
Yeah,
immediately
yes.
sits up.
But I've tried everything underneath the sun before turning to a god.
Well,
God that she won't even say. Anyway.
we all get our powers from somewhere. Did you, find anything? Or how did your report go?
Well, I think somebody would like to meet you all to see if you're somewhere in the grand scheme.
Maybe we could get more allies.
More or less. I also have a small lead on where the girl went. Her babysitter was returned back home, and through more action than anything, he's now in the infirmary, or at least a makeshift one. He will, if you want, he can lead us all to the last known whereabouts.
We can certainly do that. A child's life is important.
I can.
And
Mordecai stops. That can try and track her if they potentially have anything that she had. Maybe, well, it's too late for shoe prints.
the strange thing was, she might be a seer, a young one, but she, from what her caregiver said, she knew the future on the occasion.
Is she also, Vistani?
Yes.
Oh.
Bastani is just general term of vagabonds.
Oh, I thought, out of character, I thought that the Vistani was actually a race.
That is correct. Yeah, it is what they come to call themselves, but they are a people.
Oh, okay.
It's a culture more than anything.
Oh, okay, it's not an
The
actual race.
cultural
Okay,
term,
gotcha.
general people.
It's a little bit of column A, they didn't fucking write much about them in the book other than they're probably evil and they're all drunkards. So that's why I changed many things.
Okay, yeah, no, that's totally fair. Well, if she herself is a seer, did she glean any knowledge on where she might have gone?
No, she just told her very young and now very injured overseer that she won't be returning for a while.
Huh. Luke looks a little contemplative at that.
What if Strahd snatched her? Or she was lured into it, and she thought she saw... I don't know. He'll kind of throw his hands up.
I don't think he would be the one to hit a boy over the side of the head and then kidnap somebody.
But he'll raise a whole village.
Dramatic. Rolling in the mist.
Unless he convinced her to do
staring at a window.
It's always a possibility. Needless to say, if this boy needs healing, maybe I can do something, and then we can go and have him escort us.
He's being healed right now.
Oh, good.
Nothing can do about the mental sky.
No.
But
Only time would heal that. And then his eyes will kind of drift over to Riley, looking at his book. So, how did the orphanage go?
The boy was there.
Good. Anything... Are you alright?
No.
Kind of like leans over to see what he's reading.
It's probably gross anatomy books. Like, gross anatomy notes.
He kind of like leans down and like whispers, do you want to talk about it?
I don't have all the answers yet, so I don't know if I want to say anything.
Well, none of us truly ever know any answers, I feel, but if you want to hold on to that information, then that's your choice.
The girl. You said she was special?
Cassia.
Yeah, Cassia, I think we're talking to. One nod.
yes. He claimed that she was a seer and...
Was Mad Mary's daughter special? Was there any indication that she might have been? I'm asking that out of character, sorry.
Out of character, you didn't really get anything. Obviously, she was locked away, and that has an effect on you for the decades it seemed to be. Besides the fact that Gertruda supposedly willingly tried to contact Strahd, like tried to pray to him, that is all you know about her.
Not necessarily related.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Strahd took her.
That's what I was thinking.
I think that's the possible general consensus. Though I'm sure that there are more bad people out in the world outside of just Strahd.
No, but I think it all goes back to Strahd.
So everything...
If not Strahd, then something about this place is what makes it different.
It always leads back to him.
And he wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, we're changing that.
I'd prefer it not to go back to him. I currently don't think we can storm the gates to get her back.
Well, we can see if it's just Strahd or if it's something else.
Everybody roll me a perception check.
He's fucking listening, isn't
This
he?
fucking twirly man's like...
Fuck!
He's like behind us.
Am I like drunk? Am I drunk?
You're drunk.
I'm drunk.
Um,
He's a total lightweight.
You're drunk, go home.
Luke, I think as you kind of look over, you realize that the kind of loud storytelling has kind of petered out, and people have kind of gone back to their own thing. And you do see kind of like sitting back against like a support beam with his drink in hand, just kind of eyeing all of you over is this twiddly mustache looking motherfucker, who may not be like eavesdropping, but he's just like, he's kind of eyeing you all interestingly, and he doesn't really make any effort to hide it, but Luke, you were the one who kind of notices this happening.
What's this Dinkus's name in the Conca?
You don't know. Well, in the Conca, well, I'm not going to tell you.
I found him. Never mind.
He's the only one with a handlebar mustache and peacock feathers in his hat.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
What a douche! I love it.
Okay. So I can see this man. Based on, I mean, obviously from what I read on the Conca, I just want to ask, based on what Luke is saying,
Yes.
can Luke tell what type of class this man is?
He's a bard, 100%.
100% Okay.
100.
I was like, is that even up?
Is that
If
in
he
the
had
question?
class levels, he's a bard.
He's a bard. Okay.
He does have a lute, like on the chair next to him, but unlike most bards, he's not playing Wonderwall actively
Thank God.
or strumming and tuning it. He's just kind of sitting there.
Okay. Luke kind of like he'll actually lock eyes with him, and he smiles pleasantly, just to see what he does.
Yeah, as you do, he kind of locks eyes back with you, and he raises his glass for a moment, and he will like dramatically kind of flip his feet off of the table that he had propped up on, and he will like stand and begin walking toward your table, and say, "I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
It's the fucking Italian. No.
You all have
Cries.
what do you say? Something about you. You're not from here, are you?
Well, one of us is. Can you guess?
Your own damn business.
Now, Mordecai, here, drink this. And he kind of slides his drink over to Mordecai.
Enabler. That AA coin.
Yes, I have been here long enough to know the interesting people that live in this valley.
And he will give you a little bow, Cassia, and he will
She'll
say,
do like a way.
Now, please allow me to introduce myself. I am Rictavio.
It's Mr. Pirelli.
You have a carnival wagon.
The only way to travel. But, in any case,
Luke kind of looks back at Mordecai.
Mordecai grins.
but he will say,
in any case, I am an adventurer like yourself. I wander, I pick up a tale from the road, and I think you have something very interesting talking about, yes?
Well, I suppose
No.
it depends on how much you're willing to pay for a good story.
Oh, he's a man after my own heart. So I tell you what, I give you story for story.
I'll buy.
Oh, I'll give you a story.
Fantastic. I like to collect so I can tell the story. I bring the loot so it makes me feel connected to my collection. But I do not know how to play it so well. But so I tell the story from how I see the world. And this
A
story...
bard with no proficiency.
Funny,
Yeah.
a lore bard. Bard of Eloquence and a
yeah,
lore
you're
bard.
100% right.
Yeah.
He says,
I tell you story come from far beyond this mist, in the magical city known as Waterdeep. You have heard of this city, correct?
Mordecai, the light has left Mordecai's face.
I enter into a shop. It's Arborium. You know this place to sell magical plant and potion, yes?
I'm
Said-
assuming Luke actually knows what this place is.
potentially, he's going to give a little bit more description, and then you could literally pinpoint what store he's talking about. He says, it's run by an elf person. Yeah, see, when no say man or woman is a person, this is Corellon's chosen. They don't have neither, you see? It's magical, very interesting thing. This is actual D&D lore. There are certain elves that are born completely genderless.
Yay.
Just like all people. Anyway. But Luke, you immediately know this. There's a shop called Corellon's Crown. in kind of the slightly shittier part of Uptown, but it's a very nice like herb shop. And he say, one day I go into this place. I try to find a magic root for make a powder for the show. You know this, but there is on display very big plant. Yes, have the most beautiful singing voice I ever heard.
Sorry, what?
A singing plant.
Yes, it is sing beautiful. It ask for them to feed. It talk about it is how do you say supper time. It's a beautiful thing. It do a wonderful trip.
Are you just explaining Little Shop of Horrors?
Yes,
Yeah,
as
that's
soon
exactly
as
what's
Michael said
happening.
singing plant, I was like, motherfucker.
It's beautiful. Yes.
It's Renee Audrey too.
I don't catch the plant's name. It not very good conversationalist, but it sing very beautiful. That is my story. You go now, tell yours.
Luke just kind of slow blinks, and it wasn't the story he was looking for. He was hoping for a local story here, but to make this quick, considering where we are in time, I want Luke to shoot back to him, unless anybody else wants to tell him a
Sweeney
story.
Todd.
Wait, hold on. I'm
Yeah.
asking Michael a question.
Okay.
You just keep exchanging
Okay.
musicals.
I was going to say, I want to exchange to him one of the radical stories that Father Solvay went on and on about, because Lord knows he has plenty of stories about all of his adventures.
Roll a performance check.
Oh, what?
It's all in the telling.
I'm sorry, what? Can I roll my inspiration?
Do it.
14.
Can I help an ad lib?
You please. It doesn't even matter what you say. It's clearly ridiculous. You don't help, but it's fine. But
Like,
he
who the
was.
fuck is this guy?
Yeah, he will say.
It's fucking crazy.
You know, I have heard many stories of mad clerics in my day, but this one take all of the cakes. It's fantastic. Yes, I think I use that the next time I need to do a show. I need to run a bit long, perhaps. you know how it is.
Of course. And when are you holding your next show?
Oh, maybe sometime I'll be asked to perform at festival. Has not happened yet, but I always keep my fingers crossed.
Well, my friend, if you're looking to find a place to perform, and considering that our dear friend here, and he kind of gestures to Mordecai, just became very good friends with the Baron, I dare say we might be able to find a spot for you.
You become friends with the Baron, and you have been here, 2 days? I try to talk to this man, he don't want to hear it.
Oh, unfortunately.
It has been months.
Fine acquaintances.
Oh, yes, that is beautiful. Perhaps you introduce Rictavio. I come here and I have a friend make toys down the street, yes? I come here, he is only man who will entertain me stories beside yourself. I so happy I give him my pet monkey. Piccolo.
I because I held the one doll, that was a Blinsky doll, right?
That was a Blinsky doll.
And I read the tag, right?
Yes. Oh, I will also say, Riley, as you were playing with the toys,
It's Blinsky.
this doll did have a tag that said, "Is no fun, is no Blinsky."
Exactly, the best tagline ever.
Oh.
I also give him the monkey because the bartender, they don't want animals inside. It's a shame. But he got a very good home, Piccolo.
I don't know of very many toy makers, but is it this Blinsky?
Blinsky, yes. He is magnifique. He make best toys in all of Barovia, perhaps only.
Toy maker in Barovia.
Oh, yes. It's
That's
beautiful.
true. There's a few at camp.
Ah, camp. Yes, you stay outside. Yes, even the other carnival folk, they don't want Rictavio around. It's fine.
I was
Whatever.
going to invite you.
It's
to
fine,
my
whatever.
house.
Oh no.
You introduce Rictavio to the Wistania.
Oh, I'm sure that they could use a cheering up right now.
That is beautiful. I hear very beautiful things about the storytelling. Sometimes it becomes magic. You see it in your mind. That is what Rictavio wants.
I don't believe we have a seer, but I know something that you can go to.
We will have a talk together about this, but first we have a toast, yes, to brand new best friends, Rictavio and yourselves.
Mordecai just covers his mouth.
Luke just takes his drink back from Mordecai and he's like, of course, to future friends, allies, and business partners.
Fantastic, I like the way you're thinking. You know, Rictavio has been here for a month and has not met people quite so friendly as you, besides Mr. Blinsky. But I tell you this, when I ride into town and the moon is high, it's full and fat, 3 months ago, almost tonight, it is the last light Rictavio see outside of this tavern. Every time it seemed to be dark. Yes, clouds all over the place.
Well, maybe we need to inspire some sort of weather change. Considering the rumors and whatnot.
Yeah. I think perhaps it's a good thing, but you know, it is bad luck not to drink on toast. He kind of like gestures with a finger toward Mordecai.
Mordecai is busy giving a cursory look at the window.
Yeah, it's fucking dark and cloudy.
Okay, it fucking sucks outside.
It sucks
I'll just-
outside. It's also getting dark, like I said.
He'll just sit up and say, I believe I've had too much. I need to go for a walk. Or something.
It's fine. You go for a walk, you clear your head, you come back and drink with Rictavio. He will be here all night.
I think I'd rather vomit. And he'll get up and
Vomit.
I think
saunter out.
I think he meant that he just needs to vomit.
Right. I think as this kind of toast is happening,
I see
eventually-
Toast thinking like, why are we entertaining this bit?
Yeah, right.
Looks
while
like carnival wagon.
he said the thing.
Everyone has a carnival wagon if you don't know the difference between a Vistani wagon.
Between a Vistani and a freak. But while this is all happening, maybe you kind of cast a glance back towards Irina and Ismark at the bar, who are having a great time. They're chilling with Danica and like laughing and maybe kind of talking about you guys a little bit. You get that kind of thing where like people are kind of looking over their shoulder. Like it's all in good fun. It's gossip.
You see,
But,
someone's thinking.
I want to listen to what the gossip is.
Hot goss.
It's a little bit loud, but I'll
Luke
give you a
is
perception
so
check.
cute. That's what it is.
No. Nope. I got it.
You do see Irina kind of like lock eyes with you for a second and then kind of turn away bashful. But this is like way earlier, we'll say, before Rictavio really started getting fucking into it. And as you kind of look back, like, you know, people have been milling in and out of the tavern, you know, for the last couple hours. As you turn back, you will see Irina and Ismark again having a great time. But Irina's like talking to somebody else, somebody that you haven't met. This kind of like this looks to be similar in age, kind of this slightly, you know, slightly unkempt dark hair, dressed very, very nicely. And this guy is just like laughing and talking. And if you didn't know any better, you'd say they were getting on fucking famously. In fact, as you know, maybe kind of as everything is kind of wound down, and they see Rictavio eventually leave your fucking table, Irina takes that moment to like point out all of you. and she and Ismark will bring this dude over and say, I saw that you were dealing with something at the time, so I figured it would be best to wait. But well, we met somebody who's very much like yourselves. I thought you might want to meet him. And she kind of presents this guy to you who's like maybe in his late 20s, and he says, "Hey, yes, Irina was just telling me that you all came from beyond the mists, right?"
It's not British, thank God.
It's usually all like it takes
Sounds
a lot
like
for
a
me to not do
tool.
an accent.
It's not British.
Wow, that's just my voice.
Wow.
Yeah, we are actually. Well, most of us are. Cassia's not.
He's not British, so you know he's the hot one.
I like the British voice though.
Okay, fine, I'll give him a British accent.
I'm just talking about. There's nothing wrong with your British voice. I'm just
No, it's
stereotyping British people.
Well, apparently my normal voice sounds like a tool.
Your normal voice.
That wasn't your normal voice. He sounded like vaguely Roderick-esque.
No, it was Michael's normal.
But he says, I haven't met anybody from outside of the mists in such a long time. I'm from out there too. Candlekeep? Do you know? Everybody's heard of Candlekeep. It's a smaller town, but it's near Baldur's Gate, except for Cassia.
Cassie's like, the fuck is that place?
Sounds stupid.
Vasily von Holtz. Very nice to meet you.
I feel like I know that name.
It's in the Conca.
Yeah, it's in the Conca.
Oh.
It was the one guy that was like, he's cute, but he looks like Theo, and that's triggering.
It might kind of be like if that's but he just kind of like he seems very excited to meet others from the outside.
Lucas, and kind of he offers out a hand to shake.
He will take it and like really firmly like give it like a good couple of shakes. Like it's almost like he's like thankful to meet you in the way that he's shaking your hand. Hello?
Sorry, I was contemplating casting something, but I don't know if it's obvious if I do it or not.
Does it have a verbal component?
Yeah, it does, so I can't do it.
What are you trying to do?
Detect good and evil.
Oh, all right. You can't. Does it have a verbal component?
Yeah, it does. So.
Okay.
I won't. But yeah, he'll shake his hand and he'll say, "Well, I came from Waterdeep, but I was born in Neverwinter, and Riley's from Neverwinter as well."
Oh, I've been to both. I was. This is forever ago now, but I was a squire. Again, for a paladin who decided to take on, and it didn't go well. So I've been here.
Luke blinks once at that. When did you get here?
15 years ago? 16?
Oh.
I've been around, I guess, but...
So wait, just because you said he looks like he's in his...
He's in his late 20s.
Late 20s, so, I mean, he would have been...
He was a squire.
He would have been 15 when he
Like
when he came here?
14, 15 maybe, yeah.
Oh, so you've been
Squire.
here...
People have made
age.
squires out of younger, yeah.
Yeah. So you've been here quite a while then. Have you always been in Vallaki, or?
Here and there, but Vallaki for the last 10 years or so. It just seemed like the best place, honestly. But in any case, naturalized at this point. What are you gonna do?
I guess, yes, that makes sense. And at least we've only seen Barovia proper, and I suppose this is definitely an upgrade.
Yes, lots of nights, well, not sleeping outside the walls. I'm just lucky that I got in here while I could. Lady Voctor took me in after a little while. I don't know if you've met her yet. She's a noblewoman that lives around here.
I don't think any of us have heard that word before, have we?
Actually, yes. The two drunk rich assholes are her sons.
Oh, right.
The
like,
ones that stole my silver.
Oh, yeah.
Stole.
Luke would be like,
Imagine. Oh,
no, go for it.
They're the ones
I
that
was
took my
gonna say-
silver.
dicks.
Go ahead.
I imagine
the
at this point
shits.
Mordecai kind of stumbles back in, and kind of narrows his eyes at the scene before like slowly like approaching at an angle, like he's like strafing, like unsure.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
What the fuck is this?
Who's this motherfucker?
And
We
he's
got
like
another one we're
another new
talking to?
person.
Yeah.
You just hear him grumbling like another new fucking person.
There's a reason I had to add 20 fucking characters to Conca tonight.
I know.
A lot of goddamn people that live here.
Can Luke see Mordecai kind of doing this?
Yes.
Oh, I mean it's not subtle.
Okay.
I decide yes.
Okay.
The answer
It's
is
just
always
peeking around,
Luke
being obvious.
kind of like he glances to him briefly, but he stands up and he'll say, "Oh yes, we overheard her sons talking, and Riley, why don't you tell him a bit about your ventures with the gambling, Irina?" And he does this. And he's, second drink.
She like points at you, like yes.
And he smiles and he gets up to go get that
yeah.
drink. And now I'm gonna cast Detect Good and Evil.
Okay. What's the show it me?
Show it within 30 feet. Is the bar within 30 feet, or is
Yes.
Mordecai within 30 feet?
The bar is within 30 feet.
Okay, cool.
Mordecai's probably also with the.
You know if there is an aberration, celestial,
Suddenly
elemental,
Richard.
fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of you, as well as where they are located. You detect nothing. Nothing of this.
Okay.
Yeah. The spell works.
He's literally
Nothing
just a
happens.
guy.
You're so fucking suspicious of all my fun NPCs. The
You
one time
literally-
it's my own voice, you hate it.
Michael, you burned me in like session
That's
2.
true. That's true.
I don't
I'm so
trust
sorry.
anybody in this fucking place.
That's literally
probably
one of
wise.
Mordecai's like character traits.
Yeah.
That's probably wise. But you detect no fuckery with this
Get some
man.
vibes from
Okay.
Mord though.
But what Luke will do is that while Luke orders the next drink, he kind of looks back towards Mordecai, hoping that he stops doing his wolf stalking, and will
Almost talking. He's just drunk.
he'll kind of like gesture for him to come over.
Mordecai will kind of just like
Stumble.
and kind of slowly walk towards you.
I think like once he gets over there, he'll just like as he's waiting for the drink, he'll say, "So you don't look very happy about our new friend."
You'll just talk to anybody like it's nothing.
Well, it wasn't I who just started talking to anybody. It seems that throughout the night, Irina and Ismark have taken a liking to this person. They sound like they belong here, but supposedly they're from Candlekeep.
Mordecai will snort. Don't like that.
Well, Irina likes him, which is one of two things.
His nose will twitch.
You can guess what those two things probably could be.
Heteronormativity. Ka.
He'll sign, kind of rub at his eyes. I'll try to get a read on him as best I can.
As far as I can tell with my power, at least they're not undead.
That's a start. That's a good step in the right direction.
And
Not
then,
to say that he doesn't send people out for him.
and then they put cards down on the table and took my silver.
I imagine by the time Riley's finished his story, Mordecai's walked back over there.
Yeah, right.
Sure,
And I
yeah.
say as Mordecai or as Riley finishes that story, he says, "Yeah, I mean, I try to stay away from them too. So, you learn the lesson maybe a little quicker than I did. They're just the way that they are."
Luke said you're from Candlekeep.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Vasily, and he'll
You just say
hand
like,
out.
you say
Yeah.
into his ear.
Says you're from Candlekeep.
Oh, I mean, he's next to him.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he will stick his hand out and like, kind of turn.
Mordecai
Vasily.
will shake it. Mordecai, I'm from Daggerford.
To be fair, I didn't have much silver to spare anyway.
He will say, Daggerford, did we? Yes, yeah, that was actually one of the last stops before we ended up here.
We.
It's a long story. At the time, master. I was a squire for a while.
Who was your master? I might be familiar. I'm old enough.
Yeah, well, he went by Willamette.
Taylor.
Sir Willamette, if you wanted to be that way about it. That's how I was supposed to address him.
And
did he
drink number 2. Luke kind of says on the other side of this guy.
Yeah.
He sets the drink down in front of you, you know?
What did he do?
Yeah, she takes it and she...
I too could be considered a... He'll roll his eyes, squire.
Well, he was a knight of the... It's been so long. The Lord's Alliance.
Does that ring any bells?
Lord's Alliance is a big thing. Yes. Big thing. It's like all the major cities have an alliance between each other, basically. That's what that means. And they have armies and knights. It's like the UN, kind of.
Cool. Peacekeepers.
In a manner of speaking, a paladin of Tyr, who is a god of war.
Yes.
Wanted to prove himself when he got here, so he and his band decided to rush the castle.
Did you ever meet any monster hunters? He'll say, just ignoring that and getting to the point.
Well, there are the two, those two men who hunt the wolves. Those kinds of
No, I
monsters.
meant outside of here.
Not that I recall. Do you have a name?
What's his last name, Michael?
Look on the conca, bitch.
It's not on the
Oh, it's not on the conca yet.
Conca,
Yeah, I met him. His name was Van Richten.
Rudolph Van Richten.
That doesn't ring a bell. I'm sorry.
Mordecai will kind of sneer. Not like sneer, but just kind of like,
Yeah, but like, ugh.
sure, Monster Hunter didn't come through here a while ago. This is the
Really?
first time Mordecai's talked about this, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. There are a lot of self-proclaimed monster hunters, but
No, I mean the real shit. And he'll kind of put his head on his fist.
well, if
no
he was
shit, Monster Hunters.
if he was the real shit monster hunter, he probably wouldn't be buried with the rest of them.
No problem. Mordecai will wave his hand and say, I appreciate you humoring my curiosity. And he will quickly, like, snatch Irina's drink and take a sip and give it back and then slide, like, a silver her way.
She will like kind of smack you a little bit on the arm, like bitch.
He'll stick his tongue at her.
Yeah, but Vasily will basically say like, sorry, if I'm interrupting, which I definitely am. So, it was nice to meet you all. Hopefully I'll see you around. I was just here to pick up a couple of things and got very distracted. So I'm gonna get back to that.
Maybe we'll see you on our adventures.
Maybe. Hopefully you stick around here for a little while.
As long as needed.
And he will go back up to the bar to pick up the package that he had sitting on there, which you can just tell is like meat, like wrapped in paper,
Wolf
like
meat.
literal butcher paper. Yeah, wolf meat. That he is bringing ostensibly back to Wachter House, which is literally the name of her house, Wachter House, her ladyship's house. Even though Vasily doesn't seem to be talking about the fact that he still lives with her, but he they still have a relationship of some description. So he's bringing her food.
Mordecai
the
was... Oh,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Mordecai will so and say, "You think I scared him?"
Probably not. I just think he's being polite.
Irina
Can
is.
Can I roll an insight check on him before he leaves? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
These untrust.
I'm
Everybody's
sorry.
just
He has like 2 good
21.
vibes about him.
He's got good vibes. You're right. You can't trust anybody with good vibes.
No.
21. No, he seems very earnest.
Mordecai hates it.
Great.
Well, Cassio's just sitting there like,
Hates it.
this is a dude I can't
This
relate,
is just a guy,
so-
yeah. But like that's the thing. Like he seems very earnest, but at the same time, he knew that he was at least pissing Mordecai off, so that's why he excused himself. So maybe you guys could talk later, but he leaves in any case. And Irina kind of, waves him goodbye as he does. And the night goes on, and you guys, well, the late afternoon into evening goes on as you all, drink for a bit, and try to make as merry as you can. And eventually, Irina and Ismark will turn in for the night. Irina is more of a lightweight than Mordecai is, and she just doesn't start to feel too good after 2 drinks. So Ismark will take her up to her room.
Before they go up,
Yes.
because we are not in the church this night,
Mhm.
I'm going to do protection from evil and good on my holy symbol again, and I'm going to
Okay.
give it to Ismark to give to her.
Okay. How long does that last?
As long as I want. if I cast it as a ritual, will it last longer?
No.
Technically, no.
Ritual just means you don't have to use the spell slot.
Damn. It only
What
lasts...
does it last an hour?
No, it says concentration up to 10 minutes. I would like it to last
Ew.
longer, but...
Okay, so we'll take turns. I'll ritual cast it for 10 minutes, while yours lasts 10 minutes, and then we can keep doing.
Let's just say nothing will happen because that's just arbitrary.
But I will say though, since Erwin knows what's up with you guys basically now, we'll say at a certain point he can kind of pull at least Luke aside and just be like, hey, let's just move forward, basically from what happened this morning. We will watch over yours while you are here, basically, is what they say. An extra layer of protection that isn't just Ismark, at the very least.
Okay.
You see, they are pledging to try to be as helpful as they can while
Okay.
you're under their roof.
Sure. I think Luke would tell him back at least about the church and about what Irina's plans might be. And then Luke's gonna ask about home skillet.
About Dad?
No, about his what's his face?
Vasily? Yeah.
What he knows about this kid.
Erwin will say that he's been around, for as long as he, for a while. He's been a Valachian for a very long time, and he'll come in every once in a while to get deliver like parcels, mostly meat and wine and stuff like that, to deliver back up to Wachter House, because Lady Wachter is a tiny bit of a shut-in. She just she's too fucking rich to go do her own stuff.
And
basically.
her sons don't do anything, so
Her sons don't. That's the thing. And Vasily is just a good friend to her because she did him a good turn when he first got here. She took him in while he could, get himself settled, basically.
Okay.
But he's a good guy. He hangs out at the bar sometimes.
Does he know where this guy lives?
That he does not know.
Interesting.
He doesn't know where, fucking Bluto lives either, and he's in here more often.
It's obvious Bluto lives in the lake.
Yes, he is the monster in the lake.
Yes.
Pluto, more like Blodo. Blodo.
Wow,
Okay.
Great.
That's fine.
Michael,
Yeah.
check
But
your
yeah.
DMs.
I've checked my DMs and I'm not answering you. Until
I want
later.
to do something.
Until later. We're not gonna get to the chance. I promise.
No,
it'll be fine.
that's not. I just need to know for.
Yes, you are correct.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, but
That's
it's
it. Yeah.
it doesn't seem insidious that he doesn't know where he lives. It's just a dude who lives in the town.
I
It's
don't
a
know,
bigger city than Barovia.
Yeah, I guess just in my mind, the barkeeps always know where everybody is, and if the guy is an outsider, is he also kind of sort of in on the secret resistance? And if he's not, is he a good
that he
candidate?
will say he has never spoken to Vasily about. The only people he's
Okay.
ever revealed anything like this about is to you motherfuckers.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. But he knows where Lady Wachter lives because she's she lives in a big house that's got her name on, stuff like that.
Sure, yeah. Okay,
He's
that's cool.
he's a guy who lives in town. But as the night kind of goes on after Irina and Ismar kind of retire, eventually the door to the bar opens. Quite authoritatively, we'll say. As standing in the doorway is a hulking individual. Beset by a couple of city guards who will come in, and this is kind of like the piano stops dead kind of vibe, and everybody turns to look because they know who this guy is, and when he shows up, it's not always a good thing. And as everybody's kind of quiet looking at him, Erwin will speak up from the bar and say, Isaac, very good to see you. What do we owe the pleasure? And Izek, this person, will not answer him, but will just kind of turn to the gathered mass of all of you, picking out Mordecai in particular, and say, the Baron requests that you join him tonight. And that is where we're going to end it for this evening. You knew it was going to happen, but we're going to start off next session popping with Drinks with the Baron.
Oh, so Mordecai pre-gamed.
Oh,
Mordecai pre-gamed.
We all did.
You
Mordecai
all pre-gamed
to forget
horde.
about it.
Except for Riley, who's been a very good boy and very studious.
He's literally the same age as Mordecai.
So, that is where we're going to end it for tonight. Thank you all for joining us for Symphony of Sorrow.
If you're the designated driver.
Hell yeah. So thank you for joining us for Symphony of Sorrow, our Curse of Strahd campaign. I have been Michael, your Dungeon Master, and I'm going to send it over to Jesse to take us out properly.
Okay, hello everybody. It's that time again where we do our regular outros. We're going to say who we are, who we played, and what was our favorite part. I know we're a little bit over, so we're going to keep it short and sweet, y'all. So let's start over with Bar.
Hello, I am Var, not Bar. I played Cassia, who's also
Var,
not
Var,
a
Var.
bar.
Bar by far.
Yes. My favorite thing is give me more characters. I want more personalities to fill this world.
More lore.
I want
More
to
lore.
I want to shade them on the Conca.
Yeah, honestly.
More lore. I want to know who these people are. I want to know about their funny monkey named Piccolo. Oh god. I honestly, what I'm looking forward to is Michael making monkey noises.
Oh my god, I can't wait to introduce Blinsky. He's my
This
favorite.
monkey's gonna be possessed by the devil.
I want you to do crazy ass gibbon noises, is what I want.
I'll
to
just play
happen.
Howler Monkey Screams.
You can catch me on both of our Friday games where I play as characters that fit the setting. I'm trying to keep it short.
Yes, thank you.
As ambiguous character number 3.
One's bug, one's woman.
Yeah, that's a good way to
Oh, yeah.
describe them.
Woman.
Thank you, Var. Let's go over to Julian.
Hi, I'm Julian, and I have played Lucas in today's session. My favorite part, I think, was being able to see Ismark and Irina not being a ball of anxiety for about 5 minutes. So that's great. I hope that my plans to help Irina don't burst into flames in the next session or whatever. Don't know how I feel about that Vasily guy, which makes me upset because he's like the only other hot guy in the game. Except
That's
maybe
bold.
well, the other character that Jesse mentioned, the grave robber, he was good looking too, but he's
Not
Not grave robber, he is a grave digger.
Oh,
Grave
yeah,
digger.
grave
He's
robber.
One's a felony and
Professional,
one's a
he has it
job.
on his
Sorry.
business
but
card,
he's also
Grave
currently
Robber.
in a fucking coma.
God, hopefully he doesn't grave rob, yeah, because he's dying. Yeah. And I actually liked Rictavio. I thought he was a fun character. I know he's insufferable, but Italians can be insufferable sometimes. So I enjoyed him. You can find me here. You can find me either running a Vampire the Masquerade campaign or playing a Scion 2E campaign, and I will leave it there for brevity's sake.
Taylor, thank you,
Hey,
Julian.
my name is Taylor. This is what Mordecai looks like in my head. Anyways, wait, did I accidentally base Mordecai off my cat? Anyways, I hope you guys liked a taste of what makes Mordecai go over the fucking edge.
Dad jokes.
What drives him to drink. People. That's it.
Happy people.
I thought you were gonna say Italians.
Unwarranted happiness
Oh,
that he doesn't have. You can catch me here every other Friday too, where I play Wiley, a bad decision, can't lie looking ass cowboy. My favorite part was getting to play Mordecai drunk because he's more outwardly a dick.
And he's gonna be more drunk soon. It's gonna be great.
Oh, he's gonna be fucking passed out soon, so he doesn't have to deal with this.
Is there a mechanic in this game where you can drink yourself to passing out?
oh, I'm
Mordecai will
definitely
do
gonna
it.
Google one.
It's called
Have it fucking ready.
It'll
called
be so ready
exhaustion.
for the time. Some of us are gonna be sober for that. Maybe
Not Mordecai.
Mordecai's
Oh,
just
honey,
gonna
I'm
be
gonna
the
cure
only
you of poison because alcohol's a poison.
Fuck you.
So you
Mike,
have to be
go for
sober.
it,
That works.
bro.
That's
Michael.
true, and it works.
one. Michael.
Hey, my name's Michael. I've been the Dungeon Master. You can check me out on both of the Friday games as well, where I play a character and also another character. I love running this game. This is my favorite game to run. It's so easy to prep for because of all the shit that you guys give me. Like, everything that I came up with tonight was like, oh, you guys each went to these places? Great. Here's all the lore I can give you now. Like, that's kind of my favorite sort of stuff. Like, I love delving into the characters and seeing how you all relate to them. And seeing the very different reactions to the characters than maybe I expected. I should have expected everybody to be very suspicious of poor Vasily, but he's just going to do his best. However,
He's just a man. He's just a guy.
Yeah. My favorite, I don't know why, I think my favorite kind of character to play is like supportive dad type. So I was very happy to play Casimir again, who sees himself as father to all.
Mordecai's gonna hate it.
Wow.
Everything
has a
Michael
dad
loves.
figure, so
Mordecai hates. It's
I
out of spite.
Love playing the Baron. I think he's a fun guy. I think he likes to hang. I loved playing Rictavio because I had nothing prepared for him, like how he was going to speak, and it just came so naturally. So I just can't wait to have more very long scenes involving Rictavio in the future.
Anything
going
to
to
get
make
me my
them long.
Sunblade.
Wow. And introducing, getting to play Irina as actually content for once was fun. I just appreciate how you guys all connect with the shit that's going on. It makes my job a lot easier and it makes it a lot of fun. So that's me. That's my favorite part.
Yay! And my name is Jesse. I almost said that my name is Julian.
That's how tired you are.
Your name is
They're becoming
Julian.
one.
Hey, yo.
My name is Jesse. I played Riley, who is a boy, a man.
He is a man, not a
Baby
boy.
boy.
He's a baby man. Little baby
Man.
Stinky.
Favorite part was probably thinking Riley's thought process, which I didn't really get to articulate yet on like how he feels about seeing whatever killed his dad here. And I don't think he is quite. I think he wants to articulate it to his brother first, but he's not sure how. So, because he doesn't want to make his brother sad. And I think that's.
I love it though. Like I thought Riley had some really fun shit this session.
It was very good.
I think like that was one of my favorite. I'll not amend it, but I'll make it more specific. The scene between Riley and Felix, and then between Riley and the headmistress was like one of my favorite things, just because of how quiet it was, but how kind of raw it got, out of nowhere, which was awesome.
Cool. You can find me here on this channel running a game called Scion. It is a 2nd edition Scion game. And players play children of the gods who make their way towards godhood. Just recently, they had a cool kick-ass scene where they did a heist in a museum and repatriated an ancient artifact back to its rightful country. I believe the title of the stream was called Providence, which I thought was really cool. I know I don't get good titles. Sometimes they're stupid, but that one was a good one. So
That was fun.
And if you want to see more of what we have here on Jacqueline Hair, definitely give us a follow, give us a sub. We're gonna go ahead and head on out and see you guys later. So everybody say bye.